If it's Friday night, oh, yes, it is. Strictly Sports. Hello, friends. Anthony Florio here with you for another edition of Strictly Sports. A lot to get into tonight, but before we do that, I want to take a moment and I want to send a special shout out to each and every one of you wonderful fans out there. This past Tuesday, good old MF Michael Fletcher could not host the Cerebral Smack Talk due to illness, so I had to fill in, which I was happy to do. Myself and Dee Woodson, we ran the show. And thanks to you wonderful fans out there. Go figure, on a night where I guest host for MF, this past Tuesday night, we witnessed the most watched episode of Cerebral Smack Talk in the 8 months of that show. And go figure, the regular host was not even on. Go figure. 119 views for this past Tuesday's edition of the Cerebral Smack Talk. So special thanks to all of you wonderful fans out there. Most watched Cerebral Smack Talk, and MF wasn't even on it. Go figure. So just wanted to, just get that off my chest. I'll have more on that a little bit later on. But right now, let's get into the show. And speaking of MF, we got MF back. Good old MF Michael Fletcher back with us after a 1 week hiatus. He was unable to be on Ridiculously Raw and the Cerebral Smack Talk because of illness. Thankfully, he's
welcome back, Fletch.
Yeah, fully recovered from his illness. I'm glad he's back, and of course Michael Bullock's here as always. So and we have a new item added to the docket as of about 25 minutes ago. About 25 minutes ago, Derek Ferreira messaged me on Facebook and informed me that there was one item that he wanted to add to our docket this evening, and I agreed to it, of course, because it's a big deal. The World Baseball Classic. We're going to get into that. We're going to recap that championship game. God bless America. That's all I can say right now. God bless America. Go figure. Can you believe it? Team USA wins the World Baseball Classic. And boy, howdy, I cannot wait to get into that, as I'm sure MF and Bullock can't wait to get into that either. But we got a big night here on the show. So with all that being said, let's dive right on in. And last week's show was all about the NCAA tournament. Don't get me wrong. We're going to talk about the NCAA tournament, and we're going to get into, and of course, we're going to keep our eye on the two games we got going on right now. UCLA and Kentucky out in Memphis, and Wisconsin and Florida in the world's most famous arena, Madison Square Garden. So we're going to get into that. We'll preview our regional finals. NBA power rankings on the docket as well. We have some boxing. We're gonna talk about Triple G. MF special. That's just for you, MF, because I know how big you are, how high you are on Triple G. And I know you have a lot to say about his latest win. So all that and more right here and now on Strictly Sports. So let's dive right on in. And the first thing we're going to get into, NFL hot stove. Yes, we got the NFL hot stove. It's burning once again. And the latest news coming out, the Chicago Bears signing Mark Sanchez, which has Matt Ward in a major uproar. And I know I saw Matt Ward was very upset about that. I know he cannot be too thrilled about that. But it's a 1-year deal, terms of the deal not announced. So he's going to be the backup to starter Mike Glennon for this upcoming season. And he's going to be playing for his fourth NFL team in 8 seasons. He's with the Jets and the Eagles, the Broncos. And here's the latest free agent news. Of course, Mark Sanchez signing with the Bears. Darrelle Revis, quote unquote, likely to return to the Super Bowl champion New England Patriots. I know Bullock's going to have something to say about that. The Seattle Seahawks have signed linebacker Michael Wilhoit. Here's one for you, MF. Your Miami Dolphins. Well, they got a visit from linebacker Zach Brown. And Latavius Murray of the Oakland Raiders undergoing ankle surgery. So that's the So that's the latest news that I have according to my notes here. So here's what we have. Here's more on the Sanchez story. Like I said, he's going to be the backup to starter Mike Glennon for this season. Bears signing Glennon, who was a backup in Tampa for the past 3 years, to a 3-year, $45 million contract earlier this month. Sanchez, who will be playing for his fourth NFL team in 8 seasons, played for the Dallas Cowboys as the backup to Dak Prescott in 2016. Sanchez started his career as the 5th overall pick by the New York Jets in the 2009 NFL Draft. Mark Sanchez, at age 30, has completed 56.7% of his passes and thrown 86 touchdown passes and 86 interceptions in his career. The Bears now have 4 quarterbacks: Glennon, Sanchez, David Fales, and Connor Shaw on their roster, making unlikely they will draft a quarterback with the number 3 pick in next month's NFL Draft. Of course, Darrelle Revis, like I said, is likely to it's likely, quote unquote, to return to the New England Patriots, where, as you know, he won a Super Bowl. An NFL personnel guy saying, "We're convinced Darrelle Revis is going back to New England." So I don't know how Michael Bullock's going to feel about that. I'm sure he's going to have plenty to say on that when we throw it to him. But waiting for my note to load here. Okay. Darrelle Revis' return to New England looks increasingly likely. Numerous league sources, including some close to Revis, believe that if the potential future Hall of Fame corner plays anywhere in 2017, it will be for the Super Bowl champion Patriots. New England has a definite need at corner, with Malcolm Butler, the Super Bowl hero from Super Bowl 49, very likely headed to the New Orleans Saints via a trade, and with Logan Ryan gone. Sure, they signed Stephon Gilmore from my Buffalo Bills, but once Butler departs, they will be thin at corner, and Revis looks like the perfect short-term salve. Executives from numerous NFL clubs said that they fully expect Revis to end up there. One personnel man who's done a lot of work on the corner said this, and quoting here, "We did our work on him. He can still play. He can cover. He doesn't have that long speed anymore. He's not going to cover a number 1 receiver deep, but he can cover in tight spaces, and he has great instincts. The film is not as bad as some would have you believe. He's a perfect fit in that quarter scheme Belichick runs, and they have the kind of safeties who can help him out too. We're convinced he's going back to New England. It just makes too much sense." Of course, money will be an object. It always is. And Revis can make $6 million from the Jets by doing absolutely nothing this season, given the parameters of his former contract with them. We figure Belichick eventually gives Revis $6 million or close to it to play for him this season as part of a 2 or 3 year deal. This way, the Patriots can buy low on the veteran in the short term should they want to move him to safety. But they are convinced that in the right system, he doesn't have to make that move now, and New England is the right situation. Belichick does better finding the exact fit for gaining players than anyone else. And while Revis cannot run for 40 yards anymore, he can be a factor for 20. Surely Belichick sees that as well. So that's the latest on that note. The Seattle Seahawks, they signed linebacker Michael Wilhoit. And I'm going to, they added depth at linebacker by signing Michael Wilhoit. Seattle Seahawks have continued to address depth concerns at linebacker by signing veteran Michael Wilhoit to a 1-year deal. Seattle announced Wilhoit's signing today. Wilhoit has spent all 5 of his NFL seasons with the San Francisco 49ers, becoming a starter for parts of the past 3 seasons. Wilhoit, age 30, played mostly as an inside linebacker in the 49ers defensive system. He started all 16 games in 2014, 12 games in 2015, and 6 games last season. Wilhoit had a career-high 87 tackles in 2014, and last season had 55 tackles despite playing mostly in a reserved role. So, I do have more here. Wilhoit is the second linebacker signed by Seattle this offseason. Seahawks previously reached a deal with Arthur Brown. So that's the latest. So that's the liner notes on that. For MF, linebacker Zach Brown visited his Miami Dolphins. and that was on Wednesday. Well, the timing of the Dolphins signing Kiko Alonso to a 4-year deal worth $28.8 million on the same day free agent Zach Brown visited and left the team without signing a contract raises an obvious question. Does the Alonso contract mean the Dolphins cannot or will not sign Brown? No, the two are not related. The Dolphins want both players. The Dolphins didn't sign Brown, per sources familiar with the visit, because the linebacker and his new representation agency is hoping to get a multi-year deal that pays the player market value for a good NFL linebacker. And even though the linebacker market is depressed this year, that means around $5 to $6 million per year on average. The Dolphins are nowhere in the ballpark. Think $3 to $4 million a year. That means that Brown, who is scheduled to visit Buffalo's new coaching staff and has garnered interest elsewhere, lowers his expectations. He can circle back to the Dolphins if he wants. Some nuggets, as Barry Jackson would say, about Brown, Alonso, the Dolphins, and the linebacker situation, and other things. Brown, a Pro Bowl selection, is stuck in a market where, again, linebackers are not getting paid. Indeed, of the top 4 to 3 linebacker contracts this offseason, the Dolphins did 2 of them with Alonso, who is going to average $7.2 million a year over the life of his deal through the 2020 season, with Lawrence Timmons, who gets $12 million over 2 years, meaning a $6 million per year average. Alonso's deal falls behind only Dante Hightower's 4-year, $35.5 million deal with the Patriots that averages $8.875 million a year. Timmons' deal of $12 million over 2 years, team can get out after 1 year, is tied for third highest 4-3 linebacker deal this offseason, with A.J. Klein's Carolina deal or $6 million a year. Interestingly, Timmons got $11 million totally guaranteed for 2 years. Klein got $9.4 million totally guaranteed on a 4-year deal, so Timmons seems to have gotten a better deal. This means the Dolphins are spending on linebackers this offseason. They could not justify adding Brown at another $6 million a year, right? It's hard. It really is. But I would do it. And I do it using a concept known to some of us who do not make millions of dollars per year. It's called floating. Sometimes you make an online payment on Thursday to avoid a late fee, knowing you don't have all the funds necessary in your account to cover the payment, but also knowing you're getting paid Friday. So come Friday, the funds pop in via direct deposit, bill is paid, you didn't get tagged with a late payment fee. All good. Well, the Dolphins want to pay Brown maybe $3 million on average, and he wants, say, $6 million. So pay the dude that. Add him to the roster now, so you're not committed to drafting a linebacker in the 2nd or 3rd round out of need, and hoping the rookie can start right away. And where are the excess dollars that the Dolphins didn't budget for Brown coming from? They're coming in May when fake GM Mando waxed Koa Misi and gets the ensuing $4.2 million cap savings. Now, the Dolphins are currently not committed to cutting Misi. They're committed to trimming his salary if he's healthy and can play. I'm not the Dolphins. I'm committed to not having an injury-prone player coming off a neck surgery, for God's sakes, on the roster at any price. Misi would have to pay me to be on my team because I don't care how professional he is, how good for the locker room he is, what a thumper he is, how cheap he is. I care that his history screams that he's going to be hurt at some point in 2017 because he was hurt in 2016 and 2015 and 2014. And Nick Saban said past performance is the best predictor of future performance. Injured guys, you should know, come in for their rehab in the morning and are generally not seen the rest of the day, and definitely not on game days. What good is Misi's locker room cred then? So I float the cap space from that looming Misi cut that I made, me, not the Dolphins, and get Brown. By the way, I already got a cease and desist order on this, so. But I cannot stay silent on this. I plan for his departure the second he's deemed healthy again in early May. Love him, appreciate his hard work and long service, but bye. Considering him for a pay cut is a waste of time, in my opinion. Now, I don't want to give the impression I think Zach Brown is the answer to every problem the Dolphins have in their run defense. He's not, but he's an upgrade. It's what an offseason is about, no? Making the team better somehow? Having said that, I felt the need to share that Dolphins running back Jay Ajayi rushed for 200 yards or more 3 times during the 2016 season. Did it once against Pittsburgh, twice against Buffalo. Yeah, Zach Brown's Buffalo. And you heard about Lawrence Timmons getting a pretty good deal from the Dolphins. They think he's worth it. And if you consider what he did in the playoffs and his injury history and his locker room history, he is. In the playoffs, he had 14 tackles and 2 sacks against the Dolphins in that wild card game on January 8th. No wonder they noticed him. 2 weeks later, the Patriots dismantled the Steelers 36-17 in the AFC Championship game, where Pittsburgh obviously didn't show up to play its best game, but Timmons showed up. 14 tackles, including 2 tackles for a loss against New England. He's going to be 31 in May, but there's no questioning his durability, unlike another linebacker we just talked about. So, and then Count Alonso, a favorite among the Dolphins coaching staff because he just wants to contribute somehow. Very effective for him long term because, yes, he loves the town's Hispanic vibe. And so I've pretty much taken care of all of that. I mean, Zach Brown visiting with the Dolphins, so we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. I know MF's going to probably have something to say about that when we get to him in just a moment. And one last bit of NFL news here before I give it to MF for his thoughts on all of it. Latavius Murray, he underwent surgery on his ankle 6 days after he signed with the Minnesota Vikings. The Vikings knew Murray would need the surgery prior to signing him. The Minnesota Vikings announced on Wednesday that running back Latavius Murray had successful ankle surgery. According to the team's release, the surgery was performed by Dr. Bob Anderson in Charlotte, North Carolina. So there's so that's the news on that. So I think I may have a little more information about this. Ian Rappaport from the NFL Network, he had more details on the type of injury. It was described as bone spurs, and this is why he took visits. Teams could take a first-hand look at it. And he signed with them on last Thursday, March 16th. He spent the first 4 years of his career with the Raiders after drafting him in the 6th round of the 2013 draft. Missed his entire rookie year with an ankle injury. This past year, he was bothered by the ankle in the second half of the season. He played in 14 of 16 games in 2016, starting in 12 of them. Despite the injury, he finished with 788 yards and 12 touchdowns, and he's tasked with replacing Adrian Peterson as the lead back in Minnesota. So he'll need to be in full health if he hopes to live up to those expectations. So that's that. And I don't know if this is true or not, but I came across something on one of the sports shows I was watching earlier, and I don't know if this is true or not, or if this is one of those take it with a grain of salt or read into it what you will situations, but I'm hearing possible rumors about Adrian Peterson. Possibly, I mean, I know Adrian Peterson. I mean, I know there's been rumors about him going to New England. I think the latest one is possibly him going to Green Bay. I mean, but he's got a high asking price. So, but we're going to wait and see what happens. And very high asking price indeed. And I do believe Green Bay was one of those teams. So, and a quick update about the games here. Kentucky with a 36-33 lead on UCLA at halftime, and Wisconsin with a 27-20 lead on Florida with about 4.5 to go in the first half of that one. So we'll run down the rest of the tournament stuff a little bit later on. So that's pretty much all I can say about the NFL stuff. So let's bring in Mr. NFL and welcome back to our show, good old MF Michael Fletcher, who's been out with an illness the past week. And MF, great to have you back, first of all. Hopefully you're fully recovered and ready to go here. So you heard everything I just said. Have at it.
All right. First off, glad to be back. Thank you for your patience, folks. I know you guys miss me a lot, especially the panel. But no, when it comes to the Mark Sanchez thing, from what I'm hearing, especially from a couple of people who I know who are Bears fans, are like, not to freak out. This is more for depth than anything else. He's not the starting quarterback going into the season. Well, they hope he's not the starting quarterback going into the season. But we'll wait and see what happens. But yeah, I did hear about him possibly going to the Bears and the whole 9 yards. So I did pass it off to a couple of people. Of course, somebody did send it to Matt Ward, and we all heard Ward's, well, we didn't hear from Ward personally, but from what I know, he was none too pleased about the news. So, but they did say that it was a necessary thing, that it's more of a depth thing, so not to freak out. For the Darrelle Revis thing, I don't know. I mean, look, he doesn't have to worry about the court system now. They did throw the charges out, so he's good to go there. If he wants to go back to New England, I don't know if they're gonna want him back. I mean, I think we're gonna have to wait and see about the especially how Mike Bullock feels about it, because he is the New England Patriot guy of the group. So um, that's gonna be interesting to see. For Latavius Murray, yeah, bad injury, but look, it's during the off season. I think once he gets ready for the training camp, which is in July, then you get into preseason in August, and then the season in September. As long as he's at 100%, then he should be good to go. So I think those are really the big factors. As far as Miami goes, we've had a good off season so far. We got necessary guys. I know a lot of Dolphin fans are flipping out about well, we need offensive line help now. We need some guards and some stuff like that. Because offensively we do need some need and help. But I really think that we got what we got up to this point. I could see Miami making some moves, especially in draft, because to solidify some of the loose ends that we got. But I think we've done very well. Plus, with the Kolomisi thing, I understand that move, or why that is a big number that we're holding on to. So we're gonna have to wait and see what happens there. Plus, he has been injury prone for the last few years. So I mean, there's a lot to decipher here with the Dolphins, but I want to wait to see what they do next month with the NFL draft, and then we'll start to really see what we got. But it's a long way to go, so I'd rather not jump too much. And I'm just gonna pass it off to my buddy Michael Bullock. So Bullock, it's yours.
Yes, thank you very much, Fletch. So yeah, when it comes to the Darrelle Revis situation, him possibly going back to New England, well, I don't know. I'm sort of 50-50, but I think the thing is, it's regarding the whole Malcolm Butler situation. If he does end up coming back to New England, then I don't see him basically coming back at all. But if Malcolm Butler ends up signing a new deal and gets traded to the Saints, which I've been hearing, who knows? Maybe it's a possibility that he does end up coming back, Darrelle Revis. I mean, because you're gonna need some depth at the in the secondary, whether he does play corner or he does play safety. I'm sure he would learn from Devin McCourty, and of course the system put in by Bill Belichick. But we'll just have to wait and see how it all plays out. But like I said, I think the key to me is what happens with Malcolm Butler. If Butler New England, then I think you can pretty much forget about Darrelle Revis coming back. So, as far as the Mark Sanchez signing, I think Matt Ward shouldn't worry about it, because, like you said, it's more of him being in the Bears needing depth at quarterback. I mean, they already paid money to have Mike Glennon be the starting quarterback. So yeah, I mean, I know still some Bears fans who are probably not too happy about it, but like I said, we'll just have to wait and see. I mean, here was Mark Sanchez. I mean, first 2 years of his career when he was with the Jets, he basically took the Jets to the AFC Championship game 2 straight years, and ever since then, it's been pretty much up and down. Well, maybe mostly down for when it comes to Mark Sanchez. Like you said, he's been with the Cowboys, the Broncos. Yeah, so definitely it's going to be interesting to see how it turns out. So when it comes to the Latavius Murray injury, I mean, mean, I agree with Fletch. I mean, at least it's happened in the off season, so I really don't nothing that bad to worry about it. And when it comes to the Dolphins situation, I mean, look, I mean, the Dolphins are definitely trying to improve because the thing is, yeah, it was a pretty good year for them getting to the wild card. We'll just have to wait and see how some of these additions do play out for them. So that's pretty much all I can say on the NFL side. So, Florio, let's move on to our next topic here on Strictly Sports.
And before I do that, I just got some breaking news from the NBA. The Boston Celtics defeated the Phoenix Suns tonight, 130 to 120. And in a losing effort, Devin Booker of the Phoenix Suns, get this, guys, he put up 70. I'm not kidding you. He put up 70 tonight.
Yes, I actually heard about this. 21 of 40. 21
Man,
of 40 for 70 points, man. I mean, that is all-time amazingness. And I'm going to say this. It is the most points that the Celtics has ever given up. And believe it or not, it actually even tops the Jordan. I think he tagged the Celtics for 63.
Yes.
And that was in the NBA playoffs.
Yep.
Way back when.
Yep, 1986.
It was 1986.
Game 2.
And he tagged them for 63.
Yep.
And now Devin Booker just tagged the Celtics for 70. Yo, great win for the Celtics. Congratulations. Mm-hmm. But if you're Devin Booker, man, you know, you left everything on that parquet floor tonight, man. Hard way to lose, but you cannot blame yourself, man. That was unbelievable. It is the highest point total in the last 10 years since Kobe's 81. When he did that to the Denver Nut, when he did it to the Toronto Raptors, tagged them for 81 at Staples.
Indeed. Yeah, the highest output we've seen since that game. You're absolutely right on that.
Yeah. Highest point total of the season, too, of this season. Was the 70.
I have not recalled anybody putting up more than that in a game this year. So.
I think there was one. I know there was a few 50s. I think Anthony Davis had a 50-pointer. Huh?
Yes, he did, and I believe that was in the All-Star game.
No, it wasn't just All-Star game, but he did it in a regular season game as well. So I know he put a 50. He had 50. Harden had one. I know Curry had, I think, actually, no. I think it was Klay Thompson went off for 55 one night, too. He went off for 55. So yeah, there's been some point totals, but this is the bench watermark so far. Good luck for anybody who could top 70 for the rest of the year.
And three people that I know personally were at that game tonight in Boston. A guy on the job that I work with, a wonderful guy, a very nice guy that I work with. His name is Ed Brown, my sports buddy over at the job. Every time I see him, we usually get into the hoops and whatnot, the tournament. And he told me he was going to this game when I saw him the other day. And two members of my church family, two of the more important members of my church family, my church brother Kyle and his girlfriend Paulina, they went to the game tonight, and they witnessed the show. That's all I'm going to say. And I'm going to be seeing them tomorrow. So, yeah, I'm going to be sure to address that. No question about it when I see them. So, yes, indeed. So I just wanted to get that off. I just wanted to address that because that was something that really needed to be addressed. I mean, Devin Booker, 70 points in a losing effort. God bless you, young man. God bless you. So, and I'll tell you right now, the Celtics, we're doing it. We're going back to power rankings tonight. We got the NBA power rankings on our docket in the main event, like we always do. I'll tell you right now, Celtics are in my top 5. That's all I'm going to say. They're in my top 5. So at least top 5, maybe top 4. They're within that range. So I'll tell you that right now. So, all right, back to the docket at hand, and unfortunately, we got some sad news to bring about. Dwight Clark. You remember Dwight Clark, the former San Francisco 49er wide receiver known for hauling in the catch from Joe Montana to secure the win over the Dallas Cowboys in the 1981 NFC Championship game. That same Dwight Clark revealed this past Sunday that he has been diagnosed with amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, otherwise known as ALS, or Lou Gehrig's disease. He's 60 years old. He said he underwent months of testing after first experiencing weakness in his left hand in September of 2015. In addition to losing strength in his left hand, which makes opening a pack of sugar or buttoning his shirt impossible, he now experienced weakness in his right hand, abs, lower back, and right leg. He said, "I can't run, play golf, or walk any distances. Picking up anything over 30 pounds is a chore." The one piece of good news is that the disease seems to be progressing more slowly than in some patients. A 2-time All-Pro and Super Bowl champion, Clark trails only Jerry Rice and Terrell Owens in career receiving yards, 6,750 for the franchise, and had his number 87 jersey retired in 1988. He also served as general manager for the 49ers in 1998 and for the Cleveland Browns from 1999 to 2001. Clark wrote, "I've been asked if playing football caused this." He wrote, "I don't know for sure, but I certainly suspect it did. And I encourage the NFLPA and the NFL to continue working together in their efforts to make the game of football safer, especially as it relates to head trauma." So that's the sad news that came out this past week. So MF, we got to start it off with you here. Dwight Clark, 60 years old. We all remember he hauled in the catch, and that catch literally put the San Francisco 49ers on the map. If he doesn't make that catch, I don't think the 49ers have any of that success.
I don't know. It sucks. There's really no way around it. There's no way about it. My heart breaks to hear this for Dwight Clark and for 49er fans around the world. I know they hold him in very high esteem and high level and high love and high praise because he was one of those guys. It was him, Montana, Jerry Rice, that core group. That's the Niners of the 80s. And yeah, like you said, the signature moment of their greatness was that catch, beating the Dallas Cowboys, going to the Super Bowl, and that was that. So Dwight Clark is a very good tight end, great player, well-respected guy in pro football, and a lot of these injuries that you hear now, especially later in life, CTE and all this stuff, we never knew, how violent the sport is, but now you're starting to see all these residuals, I think is what we can call it, residual effects. And my heart breaks and I really feel bad. And now it's just, what's next? What's the future going to be? And, I think that's what the NFL is trying to do. As much as we may be going nuts about a play, that it's hurting the game with all these rule changes and trying to be more safer and this and that, because that's not the football we grew up with, but it's player safety now. And you got to start thinking about, not only, what you do to your body now, but what the ramifications is going to be 10, 20, 30 years down the line. And you got to start thinking about now. So I got to give a lot of credit where credit's due, that the NFL is taking these steps, because when you hear stories like this is what makes me feel so bad, as a fan of the NFL, as the guy who follows the NFL probably more closely than any other person on this staff. It's hard to hear when you hear stories like this. So my thoughts and prayers are with Dwight Clark and his family right now. And Michael Bullock, I'm just going to pass it off to you.
Yeah, it is a sad situation. I mean, Dwight Clark. I mean, famous for making that for the catch in the NFC Championship game against the Dallas Cowboys. It's one of the reasons why San Francisco had that run of Super Bowl championships. So yeah, it's tough. I mean, this is why the NFL has stepped up its safety. I mean, yeah, we can argue all we want with how the NFL runs things. We call them Nogs and divas, but hey, I mean, they want to try to make this game safer, especially when it comes to concussions. So yeah, so there's really nothing more to say except my best goes out to Dwight Clark, and yeah, so Florio, it's yours.
Yeah, indeed. I mean, I tell you, Dwight Clark. Let me just say it like this. I mean, oh, I mean, ALS is no joke. ALS is serious. I mean, we've we hear we hear about these things all the time, and a lot of famous athletes and entertainers have come down with yeah, and I just got a response from my church brother's girlfriend Paulina, who I'm friends with on Facebook. I addressed this with her, and she said, "I said, hey, you and Kyle witnessed greatness tonight," and she said, "Yes, we did. We were just talking about him also. 70 points, yeah, LOL." So yeah, she's very very impressive indeed, and yeah, we're gonna definitely be keeping that in mind. But we want to send all of our thoughts and prayers and well wishes to Dwight Clark and his family. I mean, ALS is no laughing matter, and we hope that he gets better, and we wish him a speedy recovery, and hopefully, in Jesus' name, that something will happen, and the NFLPA will take the necessary steps, and yeah. So all there is to say on that. So Dwight Clark, we're thinking of you. And let's hope for a speedy recovery. And ALS, like I said, no laughing matter. And I agree with everything you guys just said. And so that's it. So right now, we're gonna go into the world of boxing. So Michael Bullock, you can take a breather because this is a Michael Fletcher special, if you will. I believe this was about a week or so ago. In the world of boxing, Triple G, Gennady Golovkin, at it again. His latest victim was Daniel Jacobs. It went down last Saturday in the world's most famous arena, Madison Square Garden. It was for the WBA, WBC, IBF, and IBO middleweight championships. And Triple G wins the match. It went the distance. He got the win. He picked up the win via a unanimous decision. He is now 37-0 with 33 wins by way of knockout. I mean, my Lord. MF, I'm sure you saw it. I mean, I know you follow Triple G wherever he goes. So him and Daniel Jacobs, they go the distance. Triple G wins via unanimous decision in Madison Square Garden. So my question is, so very simply put, your thoughts on the fight and what's next for your boy Triple G?
Well, as far as Triple G goes, I mean, a lot of people were wondering, was he going to ever be tested because he always finished the fights so early. I mean, he's knocked out guys in third round, fourth round, sixth rounds. So there was really no major test. There's no who really tested him. Well, Glenn Jacobs, I thought, gave him a hell of a fight this time around, and it was a very good matchup. I think at the end of the day, yes, I'm gonna agree. Triple G was definitely the winner. Um, but I'm gonna give credit where credit's due. I thought Jacobs really performed really well in the fight, and I really think that he gave him a lot of problems, especially in this fight. And when you see the scorecards, they scored it 115, 112, 115, 112, 114, 113, which is almost the equivalent of maybe 7 rounds to 5. There was maybe a draw somewhere along the way, but I'm gonna say it like this: I really thought that it was a very good fight, hard hitting. There was definitely a great performance. But when you look at the CompuBox numbers, Triple G total threw 618 punches, landed 233, a 38% connect rate, and Glenn Jacobs, give credit where credit is due, 542 punches thrown, landed 176, 32%. So, I mean, this is definitely a great fight, great victory for Triple G. And a lot of people are like, well, what does that mean? What's coming up? What would be next? Well, I think if you really think about it, everybody was talking about it. There is a fight being planned in September. And they're talking about the mega fight with him and Saul Canelo Alvarez. Right now, there is a partial agreement in place for Canelo Alvarez and Triple G to fight in September, but that could all get blown off if Canelo Alvarez loses to Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. on Cinco de Mayo weekend. So let's wait for that fight before we get into any other fight. If have another fight in them, who knows? Maybe they'll give him a warm-up fight before he fights Canelo in September. But, we'll wait and see what happens. But, I mean, everybody was wondering, and even Triple G even said it himself. He's like, you know what? Get tested this time around because I wanted it a fight with some. I wanted a big fight. I wanted a fight, a longer fight. I wanted to be tested. Well, I'll tell you one thing. He got tested on Saturday night in Madison Square Garden, and it was a very good performance by Triple G. He won it, but let me tell you, he had to earn this fight. Nothing was given to him on this one. So, Anthony, I'll give it right back to you.
All right, very good, MF. So, now the fun really begins. Now we're gonna get into baseball now, and before we talk about our 2017 Major League Baseball regular season preview, we have to talk about the other big news in the world of baseball. This past Wednesday night, we crowned a champion in the 2017 World Baseball Classic. There's nothing left for me to say except these 3 words. God bless America. Yes, the United States, Team USA, wins the World Baseball Classic. And I'm going to take a quote from the great Gorilla Monsoon. And boy, did they do it in grand style, putting away Team Puerto Rico 8-0. 8-0 beatdown Wednesday night at Dodger Stadium in Los Angeles. 8 runs, 13 hits, no errors for Team USA. Team Puerto Rico, 0 runs, 3 hits, 1 error. Marcus Stroman of the Toronto Blue Jays was named the MVP of the tournament, especially after what he did in the championship game. No hits allowed in the first 6 innings. I mean, it was a great tournament, to say the very least. And Team USA, man, I mean, when I think about what they did, I mean, they beat a team that was undefeated going into that championship game. And it took 3.5 hours They went 6-2 in the tournament. Did Team USA? They did. They won 2 out of 3 in Pool C, and then which was good enough to get them to the second round. Pool F, they went 2 out of 3 again. They avenged the loss to Puerto Rico. They lost to Puerto Rico 6-5 last Friday night in San Diego at Petco Park, and then in that semifinal round they knocked off Team Japan 2-1. Puerto Rico beat the Netherlands 4-3, and then that 8-0 beat down by Team USA in the championship game. I mean, let me get the liner notes from this, the schematics from this real quick, and then we'll start it off with Michael Bullock on this. Marcus Stroman, he went 6 innings, allowing just 1 hit, 1 walk, and 3 strikeouts. Seth Lugo was the starter and loser for the Puerto Rico team. 4 innings, 4 runs, 5 hits, 4 walks, 7 strikeouts. And Ian Kinsler, there was only 1 home run hit in the game, and that was by Ian Kinsler, which of course, with no pun intended, set the tone, if you will. And I mean, what else is there to say? I mean, just an absolutely outstanding performance by Team USA in this championship game, and Puerto Rico reaching the championship undefeated in the tournament, winning all 7 of their games played. Puerto Rico defeated the U.S. when they faced each other in Pool F, but in the championship game, Seth Lugo started for Puerto Rico, and Marcus Stroman for Team USA. Ian Kinsler, a 2-run home run for the U.S. in the 3rd inning, as Puerto Rico's performance faltered without earning a single run throughout the innings. Kinsler scored again in the 5th inning on a single by Christian Yelich, and Yelich scored on an infield single by Andrew McCutchen. 2 more runs scored on a bases-loaded single by Brandon Crawford in the 7th inning, and Giancarlo Stanton scored the inning's 3rd run with an RBI single. And Stroman did not allow a hit for the first 6 innings of play. The U.S. added another run in the 8th inning with an RBI single by Andrew McCutchen, and they completed the shutout to win the championship. Marcus Stroman named the tournament's most valuable player. I mean, what a job by this team. And they finally get it done. They win the World Baseball Classic. I mean, unreal, to say the very least. And Jim Leland was the manager of the team, and MF and Derek and Ward and Eric Carrier and so many of our guys as part of our broadcast team. I mean, they were all over this on Facebook, and rightfully so. This is a big deal. Team USA has never done anything like this before, and they finally bring it home. They win the World Baseball Classic, and boy, howdy! I mean, the 3 of us I think we're prouder than ever to be Americans now after that. And before we start off with Michael Bullock, Team USA went all the way. We got to do this. We're bringing this back. In the immortal words of the great Zeb Coulter, fellas, you know the routine. Raise your right hand over your heart, and in a loud, clear voice, say it along with me, fellas. Here we go.
We the people.
Michael Bullock, it's all yours.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, what could you say? I mean, USA. I mean, what a run by them. I mean, many people thought the Dominican Republic was going to be the favorites to win the World Baseball Classic, especially with. Huh?
I was one of them. I'll admit it.
Yeah, I mean, because you take a look at some of the players that have come out of that out of the Dominican Republic. I mean, yeah. So definitely. I mean, it was of course, the USA. I mean, what a run by them. Of course, it all started in the first round. Of course, they were in Seoul. They were basically in Miami, of course, for that first round where it started off with them beating Colombia 3-2 in 10 innings, and then of course they beat the Dominican Republic 7-5, and then they beat Canada 8-0. So that's what got them into the through that first round, and then of course in the second round, obviously, of course, in San Diego, obviously they beat Venezuela 4-2, and then they beat Puerto Rico and 6-5, and then or Puerto Rico beat them 6-5, I should say. But they would go on to beat the Dominican Republic, and then they would move on to they would basically move on to the championship, or they would excuse me. Yeah, they would move on to the championship round. Of course, they beat Japan 2-1, and then of course Puerto Rico beat the Netherlands 4-3 in 11 innings, setting up that final. And I'll be quite honest, going into that game, I was expecting a pretty close one, but it was anything but that in that final. Marcus Stroman, I mean, not just in the game, but also for what he did in the during this tournament. I mean, in the final, let me put it up. He went 6 innings and gave up no runs on 1 hit, walked 1, and struck out 3. The bullpen was solid as well. Of course, Robinson got the final 3 outs, and then of course, looking at the box score, Ian Kinsler went 2 for 5 with 2 RBIs, including that being a 2-run home run. Also RBIs by Christian Yelich, Andrew McCutchen, Brandon Crawford, and Giancarlo Stanton. So great win for Team USA. Congratulations to them on winning the World Baseball Classic. Definitely a great time to be an American. So all I can say is USA, 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 USA. Florio, it is yours.
USA indeed, both USA indeed. And with all the turmoil in the USA and the world, with Donald Trump running things and the whole 9 yards and all the controversy and all the nonsense that surrounds it. I mean, we needed something positive to uplift our spirits. And I can't think of anything more positive and uplifting of our spirits than seeing Team USA actually win something in baseball. I don't think they've ever won anything in baseball before that I know of. I mean, my word. I mean, to go all the way and win the World Baseball Classic. I mean, I know there's some out there who don't really care about the World Baseball Classic, but this is a very big deal. I don't care what anybody says. I mean, this World Baseball Classic, I mean, this is the most special. I mean, to see Team USA win this, I mean, it's awesome. And to see the outpouring of support on social media, especially on Facebook. I mean, MF's Facebook and so many of our other broadcast team members here. I mean, just amazing. And boy, howdy, they did it in grand style. I mean, that's what Gorilla said. I mean, they did it in grand style, man. They put away Team Puerto Rico. I mean, Puerto Rico was undefeated going into that game. But I'll admit it. When it comes to the World Baseball Classic, Team USA was my second choice. The Dominican Republic, I thought, was the team to beat going into this thing. I thought they were going to win this thing like they did in 2013, and because they got a damn near all-star team. But Team USA, I mean, they've got just about an all-star team as well, and they did it, man. I mean, Giancarlo Stanton, Mike Trout, and all these other guys. Marcus Stroman. Hey, Marcus Stroman, looking like Braun Strowman, if you ask me, during that with his performance. I mean, my goodness, he was mowing them down. I mean, no hits in 6 innings and exiting after allowing only a hit. And my word. So, but nonetheless, on behalf of all of us here at Strictly Sports, we want to send our heartfelt congratulations. And this is most certainly what I consider a praise God moment to see Team USA win a very difficult tournament, as is the World Baseball Classic. I mean, that was not easy whatsoever. That was not easy. And boy, howdy, they fought and they fought. And I know MF made a big statement on social media about Jim Leland and the whole thing. And if he's not in the Hall of Fame already, he should be now. So that's all I can say. I mean, he led the Marlins to a title in '97. He got the Tigers.
Yeah, and you could see the emotion coming out of him during the post-game interview.
Of course. I mean, you think about what he's done in his entire career. I mean, Leland's been in the game for so many years, like 50, 60 years he's been in the game. I mean, from the minor leagues.
He's definitely got to go into the Hall of Fame.
I mean, minor leagues and those near misses with the Pittsburgh Pirates in '91 and '92 because of MF's Braves, as we all know. And then finally getting there in '97 with the Marlins, the then Florida Marlins, and winning it all. The first of their 2 titles, the other in 2003, that was Jack McKeon, of course, who guided them to that title, that upset over the Yankees in that World Series. And then, of course, in 2006, he got the Tigers to the World Series. They lost. They lost to St. Louis, much to the delight of the Woodsons and my Uncle Ed, of course. So yeah, I mean, it's one thing to win a World Series with the Marlins in '97, but I think this may be the greatest accomplishment of Jim Leland's managerial career, leading these guys to a World Baseball Classic championship. Unreal. So heartfelt congratulations. Praise God indeed. God bless America. We the people. That's all I can say on that. So MF, I mean, I know you were all over this the other night. You posted it on your Facebook. How about it, man? I mean, we did it. Team USA wins the World Baseball Classic. I mean, I only wish we were covering this.
Yeah, definitely. This was a great tournament. This was I know a lot of people have been very skeptical about the World Baseball Classic and everything else. I think a lot of people are going to start to ease up now about it because that was the one thing. Everybody was like, oh, when is, it doesn't. None of the big players does this tournament or anything like that. And I'll even admit it. I was a skeptic of the World Baseball Classic myself because Anthony, first off, we're not in it. We didn't have Clayton Kershaw. Mike Trout was not a part of Team USA. A lot of the bigger names you see from teams were not in it, but you still had some good players out there. Brandon Crawford had a great World Baseball Classic. Paul Goldschmidt was very good. Eric Hosmer was excellent. Adam Jones from the Baltimore Orioles, he had Ian Kinsler had a big 2-run home run. Jonathan Lucroy, Andrew McCutchen. A lot of these guys. Daniel Murphy was not really a factor. Neither was Buster Posey. Giancarlo Stanton. Oh my God. He had 1 home run in San Diego. I think it's still going right now to this very day. I don't even know where that ball is. I mean, he crushed it. He murdered the ball. For heaven's sakes. Christian Yelich, a nice young talent from the Miami Marlins. Really nothing more to say. I mean, this team was the performance of Team USA, but it was it was really more how are you going to get to the beginning or how you going to get to the end, because really, and I followed the entire tournament at the very beginning. Team USA was in big trouble. They played against Colombia. Everybody was thinking, oh, Colombia was gonna lose badly. They were gonna get humiliated. They almost beat Team USA. Almost beat them. It wasn't until Adam Jones at the end of it wasn't a late inning, extra inning base hit by Adam Jones that helped them win that game. Like, okay, so now you got to go up against the Dominican Republic. They lost that first game, so they had to play Canada. They crushed them 8-0. All right, fine. So you move on to the next round. Then you had Venezuela. They beat Venezuela, close game. Went up against Puerto Rico, got crushed. Then had a rematch just to get to LA. They had a rematch against the Dominican Republic, winner take all. USA won that game. Then they went up against a team that was undefeated in Japan, beat them 2-1. And then they got their ultimate revenge in the last game against Puerto Rico 8-0 to win the World Baseball Classic. Let me tell you, certain moments could have altered the way this would have gone down. For Team USA, they won the silver medal and gold medal in 1984 and 1988, won the bronze medal in 1996, and in 2000, it was compromised, or it was created with Tommy Lasorda, with minor leaguers, AAA guys, and they won the gold medal. The last time that they ever had their opportunity was 2004, and then the Olympics, for some odd reason, fall altogether after the 2004 Summer Games, and we have not seen it since. Take it for what it's worth. So, for me, this is a great moment for Team USA, and I know a lot of the guys were saying, well, we hope that this will be the opportunity for them to bring it back in a future. We'll see. Unbelievable. Congratulations to the United States. Job well done. Anthony, it's yours.
All right, fellas. Here we go. Now we're going to get into the serious stuff now. The serious portion of our docket here tonight. We have ourselves a triple main event on this docket here tonight. I believe it's a triple main event. I'm pretty sure it is. I just want to make sure that I'm correct on that. Yeah, this is the first of our 3 big main events on this show here tonight. The preview, the 2017 Major League Baseball season preview is here and it's now. And here's the thing when it comes to this. What we're going to do is we're just going to get into, the division winners and, how we that's really all there is to it. We're not gonna say who's gonna be in the World Series. Way too early to get into that. Way too early, if I'm gonna be real honest with you. But so we're just gonna go division by division. Who do we like and who do we like, winning the division? How we're gonna rank the teams, and I'm only gonna do liner notes on my division winners, only for the division winners and wild card teams. That's it. I'm not going to go on and on about every team. I could do that, but I'm not going to do that because we'd be here all night if we did that. So, so with all that being said, started off with the American League East, of course. Who do I like in this division? I know Bullock's going to be very happy when I say this. I got his Boston Red Sox winning the AL East. I got the Boston Red Sox winning the AL East. I had the Toronto Blue Jays finishing second, and they're going to be one of my 2 wild card teams. Baltimore Orioles third, my New York Yankees fourth, and I got the Tampa Bay Rays coming in last. So I said the Red Sox were going to win that division, and here's the reason why I think they're going to win that division. A Boston Red Sox offense that led baseball in runs last year will be missing David Ortiz in 2017. But even more pressing now is the aching arm of David Price. But since the lefty does not need Tommy John surgery, some cautious optimism is warranted. Once he's back, it'll be like nothing ever happened for a vaunted rotation that also includes Chris Sale and Rick Porcello. Elsewhere, Big Papi will be replaced in the aggregate if Andrew Benintendi lives up to his billing and Pablo Sandoval and Mitch Moreland hit to their track records. Led by Mookie Betts, Hanley Ramirez, and Dustin Pedroia, the rest of Boston's lineup is stacked. The biggest game from last year should be in the bullpen. Even if Craig Kimbrell doesn't bounce back from a rocky 2016, Joe Kelly and Tyler Thornburg should decrease the pressure on him. For the record, my modest projection contains a strong reaction to Price's injury, but as long as he's not out for the season, their record shouldn't suffer that badly. So I had the Boston Red Sox winning the American League East, and I also had the Toronto Blue Jays. The Toronto Blue Jays are one of my wild card teams this upcoming season. And as far as they're concerned, as far as the liner notes I have on them, the most visible absence in Toronto is that of Edwin Encarnacion, who took 42 homers with him when he left for Cleveland. But that's not quite the killer it's being made out to be. The Blue Jays will replace Encarnacion's production if Kendrys Morales gets a power boost from moving to Rogers Center from Kauffman Stadium, and if Jose Bautista repeats and cashes in on his career-high hard hit rate from last season. Elsewhere, the Blue Jays offense still has 2015 MVP Josh Donaldson, Troy Tulowitzki, and Russell Martin. They're also bringing back most of a defense that ranked behind only the Cubs in efficiency last year. That will mainly benefit a starting rotation that's excellent in its own right. Last year was Aaron Sanchez's turn to break out. This year should be Marcus Stroman's turn, especially after what he did in that World Baseball Classic title game. Marco Estrada, J.A. Happ, and a rejuvenated Francisco Liriano round things out. If the Blue Jays do take a step back in 2017, it will not be a big one. So needless to say, I have the Blue Jays as my wild card team. So that's all I'm going to talk about when it comes to the AL East. I got the Orioles finishing third. I got the Yankees finishing fourth, as much as it pains me to say it. I'm afraid it's back to hard times for the Pinstripers. And the Tampa Bay Rays will finish the AL East in the basement. In the American League Central, I have the Cleveland Indians winning that division. And I'm even going to go as far as to say I think they're going to finish with the best record in the American League this year. I really do. Detroit Tigers finishing second, Kansas City Royals in third, Chicago White Sox in fourth, and the Minnesota Twins in the basement. So no wild card teams coming out of the Central. I mean, you can make an argument for Detroit, but I just don't see it. I think they're going to come up just short. But I am going to get into your reigning and defending American League champion, in many people's eyes, should have been World Series champion Cleveland Indians. After winning the AL pennant in 2016, the Cleveland Indians can be even better in 2017. Start with Edwin Encarnacion, who's an upgrade over Mike Napoli. Move on to a healthy Michael Brantley, and then the full seasons of Carlos Carrasco, Danny Salazar, and Andrew Miller on the mound. And yet, it's wise to err on the side of caution here. Brantley's health is no sure thing. Neither Carrasco nor Salazar is known for durability either. And Carrasco is already dealing with a sore elbow. And after wearing them out last October, the Indians must proceed carefully with Miller, Corey Kluber, and Cody Allen. Granted, this is still a strong roster amid a weak AL Central, but it's easy to imagine Cleveland using the latter as an excuse not to push their luck with the former. So that's really all I can say on that. So give me the Cleveland Indians in the AL Central. And in the AL West, I'll be honest, this was tough. But I'm going to take a chance, and I'm going with the Houston Astros to win the American League West. Texas Rangers finishing second, thus my other American League wildcard team. Seattle Mariners third, Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim fourth, and in the basement in that division, the Oakland A's. So as far as the Houston Astros are concerned, why do I think this team is going to win the AL West? According to a 2014 issue of Sports the entire in the AL this year. So the Texas Rangers racked up more lucky wins than anyone in 2016. That points to a 36-11 record in one-run games that screams regression for 2017. The question is how much regression they can avoid. Their lineup can help in that regard. The Rangers ranked 4th in the AL in runs last year and can now look forward to upgrades at first base. Mike Napoli, catcher Jonathan Lucroy, and at least one in the outfield if Nomar Mazara takes the next step. Furthermore, good defense is in store. The Rangers also still have an underrated bullpen. Sam Dyson and Matt Bush bring nasty stuff, and Jeremy Jeffress showed elite contact management skill last year. But that rotation, Cole Hamels and Yu Darvish make for a terrific 1-2 punch. But after them, there is no one there. A blockbuster trade could fix that, but the Rangers are short on prospect talent. It's going to be a rough ride for this team, but I still think they have what it takes to win a wild card, and even when you factor in that tough AL West environment. So that's how I feel about the AL West. Now on to the senior circuit, the National League. Start off with the National League Eastern Division race. I had this as a 2-team race between the Washington Nationals and the New York Mets. By a smidge, by one game, by one single game, I have the Washington Nationals winning the National League East, and the New York Mets will be one of my 2 National League wildcard teams. Finishing 3rd, I have the Miami Marlins. Finishing 4th, I have the Philadelphia Phillies. And I'm sorry, MF, I hate to do it to you, but I have your Atlanta Braves in the basement yet again this year. So I got the Nats and the Mets coming out of this division, and I had the Nationals winning it by one game. So here you go. So begins another year of the Washington Nationals pursuing an elusive World Series title. They certainly have the offense to finish the job this year. They ranked 4th in the NL in runs in 2016 with a shell of Bryce Harper, half a season of Trey Turner, and no Adam Eaton. These are 3 good reasons to believe their offense will hang with anyone's in 2017. But after finishing 2nd in the NL in ERA, will the Nats pitch as well in 2017? It's a fair question in light of the club's lack of brand-name bullpen arms and top-heavy rotation. Either of these things could spell trouble. Could, but won't. Tanner Roark doesn't deserve to get lost underneath Max Scherzer and Steven Strasburg, and Joe Ross has the upside to be a middle-of-the-rotation starter. In the bullpen, Sean Kelly, Blake Traineen, and Koda Glover are 3 strong candidates to emerge as a proven closer. The Nats could feel a bump from a slightly stronger NL East. Otherwise, they're looking good. And the New York Mets are one of my 2 wild card teams. And this is what I think about them, about the Metropolitans this year. It's not hard to see the upside of the 2017 New York Mets. They hit enough home runs to get by last year, but their offense was still weighed down by holes at third base, first base, and catcher. Full seasons of Jose Reyes, Lucas Duda, and Travis d'Arnaud could fix that. Either Jay Bruce or Michael Conforto could emerge as an additional power source. The Mets also have a dynamite rotation on paper. Noah Syndergaard is one of the best there is. Jacob deGrom isn't far behind. Steven Matz, Matt Harvey, and Robert Selman are an enviable supporting cast. But for everything that could go right, there's something that could go wrong. Like in 2016, the effectiveness of the Mets pitching will be watered down by bad defense. They're also loaded with age and injury questions on both sides of the ball and have Uris Familia's likely suspension to worry about. The Mets are going to be good, but there are plenty of pitfalls that could keep them from being their best. So that's how I feel about the East. National League Central, who do I have winning this division? Oh, yeah. The team that just ended the longest championship drought of any team in professional sports history. That's right. Your reigning and defending undisputed World Series champion Chicago Cubs. And, oh, by the way, I have them finishing with the best record in all of baseball again this year. So I got the Cubs winning the division, St. Louis Cardinals 2nd, Pittsburgh Pirates 3rd, Milwaukee Brewers 4th, and in the basement, the Cincinnati Reds. And the Cardinals will not be one of my wild card teams. I think I got them coming up just a little bit short. your reigning and defending World Series champion Chicago Cubs. You don't need to strain your eyes to see where the Chicago Cubs might regress in 2017. With Kyle Schwarber in left field and defensive whiz Albert Almora Jr. only set to play part-time in center field, they likely won't blow everyone else away in defensive efficiency again. The rotation features one regression candidate, Kyle Hendricks, and three older guys, Jake Arrieta, John Lester, and John Lackey, who could stumble following increased workloads in 2016. But the Cubs are still going to be great at catching the ball and maybe even better at hitting it. Chris Bryant, Anthony Rizzo, and Ben Zobrist are what they are. Schwarber, Wilson Contreras, and Javier Baez have unexplored upside. With his new swing, even Jason Hayward might hit again. Despite the club's pitching concerns, they're still loaded with talented arms, both in their rotation and in their bullpen. And if they need to get help at the deadline, they have the pieces to do it. Bottom line, this is still a great team. And finally, in the National League West, I've got the Los Angeles Dodgers winning the division, San Francisco Giants finishing second, and thus my other wild card team, Colorado Rockies third, Arizona Diamondbacks fourth, and much to the chagrin of my good friend, the beautiful Julie Alexandria, who covers this team, her San Diego Padres, I'm afraid, are going to finish in the basement yet again this year. But the Dodgers. The projection for the Los Angeles Dodgers is notable for two reasons. It's the best projection of any team and out of character for a generally conservative system. The Dodgers lineup is easy to have faith in. Corey Seager is an emerging superstar, and Justin Turner, Adrian Gonzalez, Josh Peterson, Yasmani Grandal, and Logan Forsythe are an excellent supporting cast. Don't count out a seemingly new and improved Yasiel Puig either. On the mound, the Dodgers are led by the best pitcher in the world, Clayton Kershaw, and maybe the best closer in the league in Kenley Jansen. Rich Hill tops an intriguing list of additional arms. However, it will be a challenge to mold that list of arms into coherent rotation and bullpen units. While neither area figures to be a problem, neither the back end of the Dodgers rotation nor the underbelly of their bullpen figures to be anything special. They may not show on paper, but it will show on the field. And for the San Francisco Giants, who are my other wild card team in the National League, nothing left for me to say on this except this. The San Francisco Giants have their bullpen to thank for the bad luck they ran into last year. Their pen blew a league-high 30 saves and was all but useless through most of the second half. In to solve that problem is Mark Melancon, who owns a sparkling 1.80 ERA since 2013. The rest of the Giants' pen isn't great, so they'll need their starters to eat innings. The front four of Madison Bumgarner, Johnny Cueto, Jeff Samardzija, and Matt Moore should have no problem with that. The only question is whether the offense will improve on last year's mediocre showing. If Buster Posey hits more to his career levels and Hunter Pence and Joe Panik stay healthy, that's doable. In all, these Giants should be a few wins better. So that's all I can say. That's all I have to say about, this upcoming Major League Baseball season. So MF, we send it to you, the Joe Buck to my Tim McCarver here. Division by division, just tell me who do you like in each division and how you rank them out and a short prognosis as to why. So
not gonna really. All right, Anthony, thanks a lot. Like this, I'm not gonna go full detail like you want me to do. There's really not much disagreement that you really saw there that would really make me say one way or another how I feel the division are gonna go, or how everything's gonna look once this thing is all said and done. But I will say this, relatively honestly, I kind of agree with what you has said there. I think the Red Sox will win the division. I actually have the Blue Jays as one of the wild card teams. So Boston 1, Toronto 2, Baltimore 3, New York 4, and then I'm gonna have Tampa at 5. In the Central, Central Division, I got is Cleveland winning the division. Um, Detroit once again second place, wild card number 2. Royals, I'm gonna got Chicago, and then I got Minnesota, and then for the last division for the AL West, I think Texas is gonna repeat. So I got Texas winning the division. I got Houston second, Seattle third, the Angels 4, and I got the Athletics 5th. As far as the National League goes, got no arguments here. I got the Nationals 1, the Mets 2, wild card, Marlins, Phillies, Braves. Then in the Central, yes, Cubs wins the division. St. Louis gets the 2, and I give them the wild card, the second wild card spot. Pittsburgh, Brewers, and Reds. And then in the West, what I have is I got the Giants winning the division, the Dodgers in second, Colorado third, San Diego 4, and I'm sorry, but I think this year Arizona is going to be in last place in the NL West. So that's just my preview to you.
Yeah, as far as the AL East goes, I do agree. I got the Boston Red Sox winning that division. Yeah, not having David Ortiz, I mean, could hurt a little, but you still got some great young talent. You got Mookie Betts, and of course you got Hanley Ramirez in there now playing the role of DH. And I like the addition of Mitch Moreland at first base for defensive purposes and that rotation. Yeah, especially with the addition of Chris Sale. So yeah, so I got the Red Sox winning the division. I got Toronto finishing second. And I do agree. I think they'll be one of the wild card teams. I think the key for Toronto is, of course, for Jose Bautista to stay healthy. If he can stay healthy and continue doing what he does, I think they'll definitely have one of those wild cards. I got the Baltimore Orioles finishing in third place, the New York Yankees finishing in fourth place, and the Tampa Bay Rays finishing in fifth place. And as far as I got the Cleveland Indians winning that division. I think they're definitely gonna. Especially with the addition of Edwin Encarnacion to what already is a good team. So I got the Detroit Tigers finishing second, and I got the Kansas City Royals basically finishing in third place. Yeah, I really don't expect much from this year, and yeah, as far as of course who I have. Also, of course, I think the Chicago White Sox are going to finish in fourth place. The Minnesota Twins finishing in last place. The AL West, I agree. I think I have to go with Fletch. I think Texas is going to repeat as AL West champs. Second, I think it'll be the Houston Astros. I think they'll be the other wild card team. The Seattle Mariners will finish in third place. The Angels will finish in fourth place. And in fifth place, of course, will be the Oakland A's. Now, as far as the National League is concerned, I got the Nationals winning that division. Yeah, that pitching and the offense, I think, will definitely help them out. I got the Mets finishing in second, and I got the Marlins finishing in third place. The the Phillies, I think, will finish in fourth, and the Braves will once again finish at the bottom. As far as the Central, I got the Cubs winning that and getting the best record in baseball. The Cardinals will be. The Cardinals will be in second place. Pittsburgh will be in third. Milwaukee fourth, and the Reds in fifth. And as far as the wild card, I gotta go with the Mets. And of course, for the West, I gotta go with the Dodgers winning that division. San Francisco will finish in second, and I think they could be that other wild card team, but we'll wait and see. The Rockies will finish in third. The Padres will finish fourth, and Arizona will be the ones at the bottom. So that's pretty much all I can say when it comes for who I have. And boy, oh boy, can't wait for this new season to get started. So that's all I can say. Florio, second part of our triple main event.
The NCAA tournament. That's part 2 of our 3-part main event here. Of course, part 3, of course, in a little bit with the NBA power rankings. We have one game in progress right now, Wisconsin and Florida in Madison Square Garden. And right now, Florida with a 61-55 lead with about 8.5 to go in the game in that one. The 3 other games from tonight, they've all gone final. So what we're going to do here is, according to the docket, we're going to recap the Sweet 16, and then we'll preview the 4 regional finals in the Elite 8. So here we go. Looking back at the Sweet 16 action that has gone down already. It got underway on Thursday night, last night. And these scores are final in no particular order. Oregon defeats Michigan 69-68. Gonzaga 61-58 over West Virginia. In the only blowout of the night, Kansas Holiday Hand beat down a Purdue 98-66. And in the upset of the night, and what many people are calling the upset of the tournament, Xavier, the number 11 seed in the West, knocked off number 2 seed Arizona 73-71. So that sets up regional finals of Xavier.
And that busted my father's bracket for the work that he used to work at.
He had Arizona winning.
He picked Arizona to win it all.
Oh yeah. Let's just say our bracket.
in the bracket that I'm in with him, well, you're gonna get a laugh at me because I had Villanova winning it all.
So did I, and so did Jimmy Alden. Look how that worked out. But all but one of our brackets in our bracket manager group is actually still alive, and that's Derek Ferreira, because he picked Kansas to win it all. I had Villanova winning. Jimmy Alden had Villanova winning. Matt Ward, being the homer that he is, had Northwestern winning it. Michael Fletcher, of course, picked his Dukies. How did that work out? That didn't work out. And Michael Bullock, well, you would have lost either way. Even if you had UCLA, they got beat, and we'll talk about that.
Yeah, your bracket, the bracket his bracket would have gone boom right now.
Yep. So those were the scores from last night. And as far as tonight is concerned, Florida leads Wisconsin 64-56, 7:10 to go in that one. The other 3 games have all gone final. No real Shakespearean drama here, but here are the finals from tonight. North Carolina, the number 1 seed, they defeated Butler 92-80. How about South Carolina, fellas? They did it again. South Carolina, the South Carolina Gamecocks, for the first time in school history, are in the Elite 8 as they holiday hand number 3 seed Baylor 70-50. And just a little bit ago, Kentucky defeats UCLA 86-75. So we have 3 regional finals set. In the West region, we have number 11 seed Xavier squaring off against number 1 seed Gonzaga. That'll go down 6:09 p.m. tomorrow night. In that game, and matter of fact, both of these regional finals will be broadcast on TBS tomorrow night. 6:09, Xavier versus number 1 seed Gonzaga in San Jose at the Shark Tank. And then in the Midwest region final, it'll be number 3 seed Oregon squaring off against number 1 seed Kansas in Kansas City. Approximate tip-off, 8:49. And like I said, both of those games will be on TBS. Sunday, both of those games will be on CBS. And MF, the dream regional final, you wanted it. You got it, my friend. You wanted it. You got it. Kentucky and North Carolina. Whoa. Whoa. Are we going to have some fun with that?
I knew when I took that half of the bracket, the South region, it didn't matter if it would have been North Carolina and Kentucky, North Carolina, UCLA, Butler versus Kentucky or UCLA, either or, it was going to be a great final. But to know it's number 1 and number 2, Kentucky and UCLA, Kentucky and UNC, wow. That's all I'll say.
Well, put your thinking cap on because we're going to preview that in just a little bit. So, like Chris Jericho likes to say, drink it in, man. And I know you're gonna. And as far as the other regional goes, which I believe is the East, South Carolina awaits the winner of the game between Wisconsin and Florida. South Carolina is the number 7 seed in that bracket. They're going up against Wisconsin, the Wisconsin-Florida winner. So that's that. So I believe MF actually starts off on this since I led off on the Major League Baseball preview. So MF, I mean, we've seen all the action in the Sweet 16 so far. I mean, your thoughts on what you've seen in the Sweet 16 and your previews for the regional final matchups: Xavier, Gonzaga, Oregon, Kansas, Kentucky and Carolina, and South Carolina against either Wisconsin or Florida. So MF, how about the Sweet 16 so far?
Yeah. Well, I mean, we knew we were gonna get some things in the Sweet 16. We just didn't know how it was gonna play out. But so far it's been really, we're starting to see the teams that are really starting to rise up. The ones that are starting to look good is rising, and I gotta say it now. Once we get into Elite 8 and everything else, it's gonna get real fun. But I mean, NCAA is really this is the most fun. We're watching this bracket right now and seeing how everything is playing out and the whole 9 yards. And say whatever you want to say about this kid, and I guess you could say the updated bracket. It's just this is basketball at best. Let's say it like that. Left to worry about, which is, like you said, Florida, Wisconsin. Right now, Florida's looking very good, as a matter of fact. So we'll see. But Kansas is powered through, no problem in their game. When they got to the Sweet 16, just handled their business like a lot of people thought that they were going to do. So on to the Elite 8 for them. Tough break if you're Michigan. What a great game that was against Oregon last night. Oregon got the job done. So congratulations to them. That moves them into the final eight. And I do have Kansas coming out of the Midwest. I think they're going to win that game tomorrow night. That's going to be a very good matchup. When we shift gears, the I want to say we're going to go to I guess it was the West was the next game they were covering. So let's go to the West. Gonzaga, great game against West Virginia. You never know how those games are gonna go, but Gonzaga survived, no doubt about it. Deserves to be in the final eight, and then of course the shocker was Xavier. Man, I had Arizona winning that. As a matter of fact, as everybody knows, I had Arizona going to the final four, and to see Xavier get out of there and to play against Gonzaga, you know, this would be an easy game to call for an upset, but I'm sorry. I think Gonzaga is just too good. So I think they'll get the job done and they'll go to the Final Four. Then with the action tonight, North Carolina, you know what? I'm telling you right now, if Duke was my number one team, Carolina's my number two team. Carolina's just a team possessed right now. Ever since they started playing at the beginning of the tournament, they just look like the team that wants to win it all. They look that good. They look that strong. They're gonna have a big fight on their hands against um, Kentucky on Sunday night because Kentucky beat a very good UCLA team tonight as well. So for me, North Carolina should go to the Final Four. I got Carolina winning that game, and then in the other, in Madison Square Garden, South Carolina. I mean, they destroyed Baylor. This was not even close, folks. I mean, South Carolina, unbelievable performance. They've been doing their business all season. Like this tournament, they've been unbelievable. After destroying Marquette, then they stunned Duke with the second half for the ages, and then just to do what they did, and then for South Carolina, all over Baylor. I mean, now you're just waiting to see who's going to be. Right now, it looks like it's going to be Florida. Um, Basically started out, easy victory over Eastern Tennessee State, then a big beat down over Virginia. Now it looks like they're well on their way to knocking off Wisconsin, who oddly enough was the team that broke the bracket on Anthony Florio when Wisconsin knocked off Villanova. So I don't know. I mean, if Florida gets there, that's two SEC teams battling it out. I'm probably going to go with Florida in that matchup. I don't know. We'll wait and see. But whatever the case may be, this has been a great tournament up to this point, and we'll get into the Final Four next week. So, actually, no, we're not covering anything next week. Strictly Sports goes on hiatus. So, Michael Bullock, I'll give it to you.
Bullock, are you with us?
Oh yeah, I just forgot to unmute my mic. So yeah, so we had some pretty good games yesterday. Only one really wasn't that close. That was Kansas basically manhandling Purdue 98-66, and Oregon and Michigan. What a game that was! I mean, Michigan really gave Oregon a run for its money, and yeah, so now they move on to the Elite Eight. Gonzaga, they beat West Virginia, and like I said, West Virginia also really gave Gonzaga some fits. And of course, the big shocker, of course, from last night, Xavier beating Arizona 73-71, and once again, busting some brackets. Like I said, my father basically had his bracket busted because he had Arizona going all the way. So it didn't go so well. As far as the games from tonight, of course, Kentucky beating UCLA 86-75. Of course, South Carolina. This was another big. I mean, they beat Baylor 70-50, and this one wasn't even close. And UNC, of course, beating Butler 92-80, and as it stands right now, Florida leading Wisconsin 68-60. So it's going to be interesting to see how that turns out. But I think Florida will eventually hang on. So as far as the games for tomorrow, I got Gonzaga beating Xavier. They should have no problem with their matchup, and of course, Kansas. That should be a good one. I think Kansas. I got to give the edge to them because I think they're looking good. Yeah, and of course, excuse me. Of course, UNC would be playing. I mean, I basically got UNC coming out, and of course advancing to the Final Four, and basically I would have Kentucky coming out of they're advancing to the Final Four as well. So yeah, so there's really nothing more to say. So Florio, what's yours?
Yeah. Pretty much agree on everything here. I mean, you look at the Sweet 16. I mean, Thursday. I mean, 3 games chock full of Shakespearean drama at its finest. I mean, the Michigan-Oregon game with Oregon winning by 1, Gonzaga with a 3-point win over West Virginia, but the game, of course, MF won the Memphis bracket. Understandable. I'm actually covering the San Jose bracket, and I mean Gonzaga and Xavier. I mean, this is a tailor-made matchup for an underdog guy like me. I mean, you got the Cinderella story of 2017 Xavier going up against the Cinderella story of 1999, which was Gonzaga. We all remember Gonzaga. We fell in love with Gonzaga, and I cannot wait to see Xavier and Gonzaga square off at 6:09 tomorrow night in San Jose. Very tough to call. My gut's telling me Gonzaga, but my heart's telling me Xavier. Because they are the last hope for the Big East. If the Big East is to keep the national championship trophy in its trophy case, which is where it belongs, honestly. But I don't know about Xavier. I don't know about. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they win. Absolutely not. Considering what they've done, it's been damn impressive. I mean, that easy. I mean, they've dominated Maryland, they dominated Florida State, and then that comeback to beat Arizona, just unreal. And honestly, I'd like to see Gonzaga get to the Final Four. I mean, they've never been there. I mean, they were the Cinderella story of '99, and I really want to see this team do well. And another one of my buddies from my job, his name is Scott Hoyle. He picked Gonzaga. He informed me he has Gonzaga winning it all in his bracket group. So for my buddy Scotty, I'm gonna go for Gonzaga by a smidge over Xavier, but I would not be surprised if Xavier wins. Oregon against Kansas. I have to go with Kansas because Kansas has been very dominant as well. I mean, all 3 of their wins, I believe, have been in the form of blowouts, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, easy win over that number 16 seed, and then in the second round, no trouble whatsoever, and then another beat down of Purdue, a solid Purdue team. They're halfway decent, let me tell you. But it's Kansas. I mean, Kansas is dominating. I always go with the hot hand, so I'm going with Kansas to win that game over Oregon. Kentucky and Carolina. I mean, Michael Fletcher, you hit the mother load, man. I mean, these two teams are on your proverbial Mount Rushmore of college basketball. I know that for a fact, and this is the toughest one to call. Honestly, this is very tough. But I'm going to take a chance, and I'm going to go with North Carolina to win it. Another. I have another work buddy who's a big time North Carolina fan. His name is Louis Rosa. He's matter of fact, I chatted with him about it on the job today. We talked about the games from last night, and he's a big time North Carolina fan. He told me that he's rooting for UNC, of course, and I'm sure he was very pleased, like all of the other North Carolina faithful, with the win over Butler tonight, and I know he's going to be rooting hard for his boys to knock off Kentucky on Sunday afternoon. So we'll see what happens. I mean, I like Kentucky. I like that Fox kid, De'Aaron Fox. He's been amazing in this tournament. He had a huge game tonight, as MF knows firsthand from covering that game. Then that win over UCLA, and as of right now, Florida with a 6-point lead over Wisconsin. That's late. We got about a minute 44 to go. Bronson Caney just committed a foul. This game, of course, in Madison Square Garden. Winner gets South Carolina. I'll say it like this. Florida just got a couple of. I think they probably just made a couple of free. Well, actually, I think they hit a couple of. I think they hit a bucket or something. Caney just hit a 3, so it's 72-67 Florida. Minute and a half to go. If Florida hangs on and it's them against South Carolina, I'm going for the upset. I think South Carolina can do it. I have a lot of faith in this team. I am really liking what I'm seeing from South Carolina. I really am. And especially after what they did. I mean, look what they've done in their 3 games already. We talked about it last Friday night, guys. I mean, we saw what they did against Marquette when they exploded in that second half against Marquette. And then on Sunday, MF, what they did to your Dukies. I mean, goodness gracious. Another big second half. And then tonight, I mean, making mincemeat out of a Baylor team that I thought was very good throughout the course of this season. I mean, goodness. I mean, what I've seen over these last couple of days. I mean, it's just unreal. So if it's Wisconsin and Florida, if it's South Carolina against Florida, I like South Carolina. But if Wisconsin somehow, some way finds a way to come back and steal this, then I go with Wisconsin. Because Wisconsin is the more tournament-tested team. And then again, you can say the same about Florida, former national champion. Florida, 2-time national champion. In fact, the last team to win back-to-back national championships, 2006 and 2007, and that remains the same because Villanova lost. So, I just want to get a little bit more of the liner notes here before we move on to the NBA power rankings. And it was just announced that the Kentucky North Carolina game will tip off at 5:05 on CBS on Sunday. So MF, make a note of that. 5:05 Sunday. That's when Kentucky and Carolina square off in Memphis. So obviously that means the East game in Madison Square Garden is going to be the first game on Sunday. We're probably looking at around a 2:30 tip-off or so for that one. As far as the trying to find this thing. Just give me 1 minute. For the Xavier Gonzaga game, I mean, opponents in the West Region's Elite Eight, they have much in common. Small, private, Jesuit universities, no football programs, and everything else. I mean, this game will go down at 6:09 tomorrow night on TBS. And one team's going to make history. Either top seed Gonzaga or 11-seeded Xavier will make its first Final Four. One-time Cinderella Gonzaga ranked among the top tier of title contenders all season, as the Bulldogs were number one in the AP poll for nearly 2 months while winning their first 29 games. Big, quick, deep, and talented. And arguably, the 2017 Cinderella Xavier went through a 6-game losing streak after star point guard Edmund Sumner sustained a season-ending knee injury on January 29th, with only 2 of the losses to ranked teams. The Musketeers, however, regained their stride. Xavier, the lowest remaining seed in the field, advanced to the West by handling number 6 seed Maryland, number 3 seed Florida State, and number 2 seed Arizona. Musketeers forward J.P. Makura had 14 points, 7 rebounds, and 5 assists against Arizona. Gonzaga, whose only loss came against BYU in their regular season finale on February 25th, got a go-ahead three-pointer from Jordan Matthews in the final minute to beat West Virginia 61-58. The Bulldogs' 7-foot, 300-pound center Zemek Karnowski will be the biggest man on the floor Saturday and will be the toughest matchup for a smaller Xavier. Both he and athletic 6'9" forward Jonathan Williams had 13 points against West Virginia. Point guard Nigel Williams-Goss leads Gonzaga with a 16.7 scoring average, one of 4 players in double figures. He was held to 10 points on 2 of 10 shooting and committed 5 turnovers against West Virginia. The Bulldogs held the Mountaineers to 26.7% shooting. And Gonzaga, long removed from being a college basketball upstart, is playing in its 19th consecutive tournament. They've only made 2 other appearances in the Elite Eight, losing to eventual champion UConn in 1999 and falling to eventual champion Duke in 2015. Xavier has made 2 previous Elite Eight appearances, the last coming in 2008 when Sean Miller was the head coach and Chris Mack was one of his assistants. The Musketeers lost to a UCLA team led by a couple of local kids who were pretty good in Kevin Love and Russell Westbrook. I do believe Gonzaga is the favorite. I believe they're like an 8-point favorite in this game. So as much as I would love to see Xavier win and win it for the Big East, I have to go with Gonzaga. I think they're the better team right now. And I like what I've seen from them. And like I said, it's from my buddy Scotty Hoyle on the job. So I'm going with Scotty on this one. I'm going with Gonzaga to win over Xavier. As far as my liner notes for Oregon and Kansas is concerned, I mean, like I said, this one's Kansas. I mean, Kansas is a 7-point favorite. And with what I've seen out of them, en route to the Elite Eight, they've won their 3 NCAA tournament games by an average of 30 points and averaging about 96 in that span, guys. Slowing down the top-seeded Jayhawks will be the task for the 3rd-seeded Oregon Ducks in the Midwest Regional Final. To make it a little more of a challenge, the Ducks must do it in a hostile environment. Sprint Center is less than an hour's drive from Lawrence, Kansas, the home of the Jayhawks, so the arena will be filled with Kansas fans. And the Kansas players know the advantage of having most of the 18,000-plus fans behind them, considering that they have the Big 12 Conference tournament there every year. Oregon is a good matchup for Kansas because of similar styles. Kansas relies on 4 guards in their starting lineup, while Oregon plays small with the loss of 6'10" forward Chris Boucher to injury late in the season. Kansas led by National Player of the Year candidate Frank Mason III, averaging 20.8 points a game coming into the tournament. He scored 26 against Purdue. He can drive to the basket, shoot from the outside, and he loves to pass, averaging 5.2 assists a game. Oregon's go-to player is Dylan Brooks, who leads the Ducks with 16.4 points a game, can bring the ball up court, though he plays the power forward position for the Ducks with the absence of Boucher. Dana Altman and Oregon are back in the Elite Eight for the 2nd year in a row. Lost to Big 12 opponent Oklahoma with a spot in last year's Final Four. If they accomplish their goal Saturday, it will be the Ducks' first Final Four since the very first NCAA tournament in 1939, when Oregon won their first and only national championship. How about that? But nonetheless, it's Kansas. I mean, how can it not be Kansas? That's all I can say on that. And as far as North Carolina and Kentucky goes, I like Carolina in that one, like I said. I mean, that's a very tough pick. And as far as the Wisconsin and Florida is concerned, while I'm waiting for this to load up, we got a tie game, guys. We could be on we finally have some Shakespearean drama here, guys. I mean, I think we're gonna have to. I think we may have to chime in on some commentary on this. I mean, it's what it's looking like right now. So it's what do we got here? It was. I believe we're heading into. All right, let me see. We got about 2.5 seconds to go here, and we're tied at 72. And I believe it's Florida ball. So, and it's a full timeout. All right, guys, what are we thinking here? Wisconsin, Florida, 2.4 seconds, tied at 72 in a timeout situation. I mean, it looks like Florida's going to get the chance here to go for the win. So what does Florida have to do to get this win here and advance to meet their conference rival, South Carolina? I mean,
is this an open-ended question, or are you actually like
open forum? I mean, it looks like we have the need to finally do some commentary here. We've been dying for this. So thank God, Shakespearean drama.
Oh, right, that was probably the wrong idea.
Oh,
is it my turn?
No. We got live commentary here, Bullock. Wisconsin and Florida tied at 72.
And we're going to overtime, folks, in Madison Square Garden.
It's not over yet.
Wow, Florida had a 5-point lead. And Wisconsin comes back and ties it up. So,
wow, this is going to be an
drama in the Garden.
It first led off with a miracle shot with about 2 seconds left, and then the next thing you know, a full-length court pass, which was I want to say kind of ill-advised if I was one to say, but that was kind of an ill-advised pass. Probably a pass I probably would not have done. Try to go full length of the court, but whatever the case may be, it damn near backfired on them. And Wisconsin had somewhat of a look at a major victory here, but nope. And we got 5 more minutes of basketball at least. Most famous arena.
Absolutely. So I mean, what else is there to say? And with all that being said, while we wait for the OT to get underway, let's get ready for our NBA power rankings here, because that's what we're going to be. That's our power ranking of choice this time around. So, oh boy, I'm trying to think who I actually believe it was. I don't remember who started off on our. Actually, I think it was MF, so it would be Bullock, but I know Bullock's obviously not ready, so I'm going to have to start it off when it comes to the power rankings. So no worries. I do have to make note of something here. We do have to make a note of something here. we got a team that's going the wrong way, and I do mean the wrong way, who were in our previous rankings. This is our first NBA Power Rankings since, man, it's been a while since we've done this. Let me check this. March 3rd. Okay. It's been that long. So, about 3 weeks. So, and this team, did I have this team in the last rank? No, I didn't. Okay. I was gonna say the Atlanta Hawks, and the Atlanta Hawks are the dud team in when it comes to the power rankings. I mean, look at this. They've lost 6 straight, and they're 3-7 in their last 10 games. So even if I had Atlanta in my last rankings, which I didn't, I certainly don't have them this time. So Atlanta, you're out. So I think that's pretty much it when it comes to that. So yeah, we're gonna start off these power rankings tonight with a brand new entrant at number 10. I know their last 10 stretch is the best of any team in the league right now, but we realistically cannot make this team the number 1 team because they had the best last 10 of anybody. Yes, they're 8-2 in their last 10 games, and they've won 3 in a row, including tonight against the said Atlanta Hawks, making their debut in our NBA Power Rankings this time around. My number 10. Do I have my number 10? Yes, I do. My number 10. Give it up, guys, for the Milwaukee Bucks. Can you believe it? The Milwaukee Bucks cracked the power rankings. 37-35. It's because of the record, obviously. They're 8-2 in their last 10. They've won 3 in a row. They're second in field goal percentage. They're 7th in 3-point shooting percentage. And they've won 3 in a row. And I can't believe this team is actually, and they're peaking at the right time. So let's see what they've done since our last power rankings. I mean, here's a team that at one time had a 6-game winning streak at the start of this month. I mean, this month of March, they have done very well. They've only lost 3 games this month already. Is it 3 losses? Yeah, it's 3 losses. They're 11-3 in this month of March. Had a 6-game winning streak from March 3rd to March 11th, which included wins against the Clippers, the Raptors, the Sixers, the Knicks, the Pacers, and the T-Wolves. That streak came to an end on March 13th when they got holiday hand by the Memphis Grizzlies at Memphis. And then they won 2 in a row against both LA teams, the Clippers and the Lakers. They got beat down by the Golden State Warriors. What else is new? Top 3 in the power rankings, by the way, Golden State. Finally looking like that team, that dominant team that they once were. One at Portland, one holiday hand, Sacramento in Sacramento, and then a big win against Atlanta tonight, 100-97. They host the Chicago Bulls on Sunday. They go to Charlotte Tuesday, go to Boston against Bullock Celtics. That should be an interesting matchup on Wednesday. And then next Friday, they host the Detroit Pistons next Friday. And then WrestleMania Sunday, April 2nd, they host the Dallas Mavericks at Oklahoma City on the 4th of April. And then on April 6th, they're at Indiana. And then at Philadelphia on the 8th, home to Charlotte on the 10th. And they end the season in Boston against the Celtics on April 12th. Because, you know, we don't have a show next week. I'll explain that when we do our future content. April 7th, we're probably going to be doing NHL Power Rankings. So I'm thinking our next NBA Power Rankings will not be until April 14th, which coincides with the end of the regular season. So that actually does come in handy. So, I mean, Milwaukee, goodness gracious, I am very impressed. Antetokounmpo has been killing it. So, and if they keep this up, they're going to be a playoff team. So that's all I can say about that. So give it up. My number 10, give it up for the Milwaukee Bucks. MF, how about it?
I hate to do this to you. I disagree. I actually got Milwaukee higher. This is one of the rare times where I kind of feel like you may overscore it here. And no, don't get me wrong, they're in it, they're worthy, but I just think they're a little more higher because, like you said, the winners of 3 in a row and the way that they've been playing lately, I just can't find it in my heart of hearts to say that not only does this team deserve to be in the top 10, but I can't put them at number 10. I believe they deserve to be higher. They're a little higher, not much. They're a little higher. I'll get into that in a little bit. One team that is definitely in the playoff that I believe deserves to be in it as well. Um, LA Clippers. Now, Nay, I know a lot of people are gonna resign that. 43-30. They definitely have a great record. The injuries have really hurt them, and that's why they're kind of a little bit down here. I kind of feel like this is fair for me. So my number 10 is the LA Clippers. Michael Bullock, I give it to you.
Yeah, I agree. The LA Clippers are my number 10. I do have the Milwaukee Bucks higher, so yeah, there's really nothing more to say. So let's move on to number 9.
My number 9, I lead off. The Jazz is currently the number 4 team in the Western Conference at 44-28. Um, I just love what they bring to the table right now. They're just having such a good season. They radar. Nobody really talks about them other than the big 3 in the West, which is Golden State, San Antonio, and Houston. They're all going to be in the rankings somewhere tonight. Um, at least the majority of them are in the top 5. I don't know. I think 2 of the 3 top 5. I don't know if it's all 3 of them. We'll wait. There's some other teams in the East that I'm gonna make a vouch for. But my number 9 is the Utah Jazz. Um,
Yeah, I have the Utah Jazz as my number 9 as well. So yeah, Fletch pretty much touched on it. So Florio, you're number 9.
Maybe I should have done some reworking on that when it comes to my end of it. I probably should have had Milwaukee as high as you guys have them. But I did it based on the records, in this case. So that's why I had Milwaukee at number 10. Number 9, I have a tie at number 9. There's going to be a little bit more on the disagreeing side. I got Utah higher on my end. And this is my only tie in the power rankings this week. Only tie. My co-number 9s, one of them, this is actually where I had the Los Angeles Clippers. And the other, this may surprise a lot of people, it's your reigning and defending undisputed NBA champion Cleveland Cavaliers. Clippers, 5-5 in the last 10 games. They lost their last game. They're 43-30. They're 15 games behind the Golden State Warriors in the Pacific Division. 4th in field goal percentage, 4th in three-point shooting percentage, 6th in points overall scored. They were playing well up until their last game, which they lost. Let's see what the Clippers have done since our last rankings. Lost at Milwaukee, won at Chicago, won at home against the Celtics, lost at Minnesota, terrible loss there. Big win at Memphis, nice win at home against Philly, lost to Al Bradison's Utah Jazz. They're currently they had lost 3 in a row. They followed up a 3-game losing streak with a 3-game winning streak. I mean, after they lost to Philly, they lost at Utah, they lost at home to Milwaukee, they lost at Denver. But then they beat down the Cleveland Cavaliers last Saturday on the primetime stage of ABC. My goodness, beat them down by 30. And then home win against the Knicks, easy win against the Lakers, but then a bad loss at Dallas on Thursday. They host Alvarez's Utah Jazz today at 3:30 rather. And then they have another afternoon matinee the next day, Sunday, against Sacramento. And then they host Washington on Wednesday, go to Phoenix on Thursday. And then they host the Lakers on April 1, home to Dallas on the 5th, at San Antonio, April 8th. And that game at San Antonio, ABC, that's the regular season finale of the ABC on Saturday night game. Host Houston on the 10th on TNT, and then they end the year at home on the 12th at home against Sacramento. So the LA Clippers are my first number 9. My other number 9 is the Cleveland Cavaliers, 5-5 in the last 10. They won tonight, which got them off the schneid, 47-24, which is the best record for now in the Eastern Conference. But watch out, they got the Celtics creeping up behind them. Since our last rankings, wild 135-130 win in Atlanta. Got beat down by the Miami Heat, 120-92, and then lost to them again at home in a home series. Lost at Detroit, won at Orlando, not a surprise. Selection Sunday, they lost at Houston, tough loss at Houston. Easy win at home against Detroit. Also won at home against Utah. Got beat down by the Clippers. Bounced back with a win against the Lakers. Lost at Denver. But they won against Charlotte tonight in Charlotte. So they host Washington tonight, NBA TV. You can catch the game there. Perhaps a finals preview on Monday night when they go to San Antonio against the Spurs. I think so. That'll be on Monday night. And then Thursday night, back on TNT against the Chicago Bulls in Chicago. I wouldn't be surprised if they won against them because the Bulls suck. I'm sorry to say it, but it is what it is. They're free falling and not in a good way. They host Philadelphia on next Friday. WrestleMania Sunday, they're hosting the Indiana Pacers. And then they got Orlando coming in on the 4th, at Boston on the 5th, ESPN Wednesday night right there. Big game for you there, Bullock. Home to Atlanta on the 7th, at Atlanta on the 9th, at Miami on the 10th, and then they end the year at home against the Toronto Raptors. Rematch of the conference finals from last year. What a great way to end the season. 2nd in three-point shooting, 4th in points scored, 6th in field goal percentage. So that's it. So Los Angeles Clippers, Cleveland Cavaliers, co-number 9s in my power rankings. So, and that's my only tie, by the way. Number 8.
I'll actually take it.
Okay, Bo, who you got?
All right, my number 8. I actually have the Cleveland Cavaliers as my number 8. So yeah, you pretty much touched on it. So Florio, it's yours.
Wow, was not expecting that, but okay. My number 8. This is where I have the Oklahoma City Thunder. Oklahoma City Thunder are my number 8. 6-4 in their last 10 games. Won their last game. 41-30. 2.5 games behind the Utah Jazz in the Northwest Division. They're first in rebounds, 8th in points scored, but they're 15th in field goal percentage. Not bad, but the three-point shooting is their Achilles heel. They're 28th in that department. Let's look and see what they've done since our last rankings. Lost at Phoenix, lost at Dallas, lost at home to Portland, picked up a nice win at home against San Antonio. And at one point, they had a 5-game winning streak up until Monday night. I mean, home win against San Antonio, home win against Utah, and then road wins at Brooklyn and Toronto. Easy win against Sacramento. But then they got beat down by the Golden State Warriors on Monday night, 111-95. And then their last game on Wednesday, they absolutely beat down the Philadelphia 76ers, 122-97. Their next game will be Sunday at Houston on ABC, the Sunday afternoon game of the week right there. At Dallas Monday, at Orlando Wednesday, home to San Antonio next Friday. That's on ESPN. WrestleMania Sunday, they're playing at home against Charlotte. And then they host Milwaukee on the 4th, at Memphis on the 5th, at Phoenix on the 7th, at Denver on the 9th, at Minnesota on the 11th, and then they end the year at home on the 12th against the Denver Nuggets. So there you go. Oklahoma City Thunder starting to catch a little fire here. So that's all I can say about that. So my number 8, Oklahoma City Thunder. MF, what do you say?
Fletch, are you there?
Yeah, he didn't give me no heads up. Normally I would get a heads up. Obviously I disagree because of what I did earlier. This is where I have the Cleveland Cavaliers at my number 8 spot here. Basically for all the reasons that Anthony made allude to. Oh, hey. Just to give you a quick update, because we were following the East Regional, it is still a tie game, but it looks like Wisconsin will have an opportunity to take the lead, a foul on the play with at least 4 seconds left in the game, or at least in overtime, I should say. It's 81-81, 4 seconds left, and Wisconsin gets 2 free throws. So, like I said, my number 8 was the Cleveland Cavaliers. And that's it. So whoever's next is next.
Yeah, I actually take it at number 7 since Bullock actually took number 8, which I was a little surprised by, but that was good. What do I have? My number 7. This is where I have the Utah. This is actually where I have the Utah Jazz at number 7. They're also 6-4 in their last 10, won their last game, but it's the record that breaks the tie here. 44-28, they lead the Northwest Division and lead it by 2.5 games over Oklahoma City. 9th in field goal percentage, 11th in 3-point shooting, 18th in rebounds, but they need to start putting up some points. They're 28th in the league in points scored. So Albert Edison, your team needs to do some work, even though they're doing some great things right now. So since our last rankings, they had a 4-game winning streak at the start of this month. Home win against Brooklyn, and then they won at Sacramento. Home win against New Orleans, and then a big one at Houston on March 8th. That was a big one right there. Lost at Oklahoma City on the 11th. Home against the Clippers, they won. Won at Detroit. Lost at Cleveland, lost at Chicago on the 18th. And then Monday night, they lost at Indiana, but then they knocked off the New York Knicks at home on Wednesday. They're playing at the Clippers today, 3:30, and then they host New Orleans on Monday, at Sacramento on Wednesday, home to Washington on Friday, the 31st. WrestleMania. Oh, we got a big time matchup on WrestleMania Sunday. Just before the Showcase of the Immortals. How about a nice little warm-up with Utah and San Antonio in San Antonio on ABC. Sunday afternoon game of the week right there. Home to Portland on the 4th. Home to Minnesota on the 7th. At Portland on the 8th. At Golden State on the 10th. And then they end the year at home against San Antonio. So they got a very tough schedule coming up. But Albertison's team has been good so far. Let's see if they can keep it up. So my number 7, Albertison's Utah Jazz. Oh, Florida. Whoa, Florida wins with a buzzer beater? What happened there, MF?
What? I wish I could explain it, but it happened. Basically, with 4 seconds left, Florida drove it down to the lane. I'm looking at it right now. I'm looking on a replay here, and it looked like it was. Let me see if I can get the player's name. I'm rewinding it back. Okay. So I'm rewinding it to the actual play. So basically it was Gioza. So Gioza from Florida hits a 3-pointer at the buzzer, literally at the top of the key. 80-43. Florida advances. Wisconsin goes home. My goodness. Wow, what way to end it. Okay, so we're at number 7. My mind is still going nuts over what just happened. And my number 7, I'm gonna do it. Um, Washington Wizards. Washington Wizards, 44-28, 6-4 in the last 10 games, winners of 2 in a row. That's where I'm gonna go. So that's it. So Mike Bullock, I give it to you.
Yeah, we're number 7, right?
Yes.
All right, I just wanted to make sure. So, yeah, I got the Washington Wizards as my number 7 as well. So, yeah, so let's move on to number 6.
And it's going to be MF starting it off. So MF, who's your number 6?
My number 6 is the Toronto Raptors. 6-4 in the last 10 games, 4 winners of 4 in a row. 29 is their overall record. Um, I just feel like this is the right spot for me in my eyes. I just feel like this team has been really good lately. Um, they're right in the mix in that Atlantic division. They're 3.5 out. They're holding the number 4 slot right now. They're going to be a tough out in the playoffs, man. They're going to get in there. When they do, they're going to be a tough out, man. Good luck to any team who's going to have to face them. Right now, it looks like if everything holds the way it does, they're going to go up against the Atlanta Hawks. I think they'll go through to the next round of the playoffs if that happens. So we'll wait and see what happens. But right now, my number 6, just missing out on the top 5. Like I said, Toronto Raptors. So, Mike Bullock, I'll give it to you.
Yeah, my number 6. I'm going with the Toronto Raptors as well. So, yeah, so there's nothing more to say. So, Florio, it's yours.
My number 6. There'll be another disagreement here. This is actually where I have the Washington Wizards. 44-28, 6-4 in the last 10, winners of 2 in a row. 7-game lead over Atlanta in the Southeast Division. 4th in field goal percentage, 5th in points scored, 7th in 3-point shooting. Rebounding needs work. They're 20th in that department. But let's look what the Wizards have done since their last rankings. Lost at home to Toronto, win over Orlando at home, road wins at Phoenix, Denver, Sacramento, and Portland, before losing at Minnesota. Home loss to Dallas, bad loss there. Nice home win against Chicago, bad road loss at Charlotte. Tough loss at Boston on Monday. But then they've won 2 in a row. They knocked off Atlanta at home Wednesday, and then an easy win against Brooklyn tonight. No shocker there. 129-108. Huge game at Cleveland tonight, 7:30, NBA TV. And then on Tuesday, they're at the Lakers. That's another NBA TV matchup. Then they play the Clippers in LA on Wednesday. Then they go to Utah next Friday. Are they going to be playing on WrestleMania Sunday? Yes, they are. Oh boy, against the Golden State Warriors. Good luck. Home to Charlotte on the 4th, at New York on the 6th in the Garden, home to Miami on Saturday the 8th, at Detroit on the 10th, and then they end the year on April 12th at Miami against the Heat. So yeah, that's a great young team they got there, and this is another team that I think could be a tough out in the Eastern Conference when it comes to the playoff picture. So number 6, it is the Washington Wizards. So we go to number 5. Michael Bullock, do you want it, or do you want me to take number 5?
I'm not ready yet, so why don't you just take this?
I figured. All right. And I start off the top 5 by saying this is where I have the Toronto Raptors. Like MF mentioned, they're 6-4 in the last 10. They've won 4 in a row, 43-29, 3.5 games behind the Boston Celtics in the Atlantic Division. And they're 8th in points scored, 11th in field goal percentage, 15th in 3-point shooting, 18th in total rebounds. And let's see what the Raptors have done since road win at Washington, road loss at Milwaukee, road win in New Orleans, road losses at Atlanta and Miami, easy home win against Dallas, lost at home to Oklahoma City, won at Detroit, beat Indiana. Well, they won 4 in a row. It started last Friday with a road win in Detroit, and then they followed it up with a home win against Indiana on Sunday. A close, hard-fought win at home against Chicago on Tuesday, and then an easy road win at Miami on Thursday. They're at Dallas tonight. They host Orlando Monday, host Charlotte Wednesday, host Indiana next Friday. They'll be playing on WrestleMania Sunday, hosting Philadelphia, at Indiana on the 4th, at Detroit on the 5th, home to Miami on the 7th, at Madison Square Garden against the Knicks on the 9th, high noon on NBA TV, and then they end the year at Cleveland against the Cavaliers on the 12th. So, yeah, MF touched on it. I think they're going to be a tough out, and I think they have what it takes to make another conference finals run. I really do. So with that being said, my number 5 is the Toronto Raptors. So MF, who do you have at number 5?
Well, obviously, because now we're in the top 5, this is where it gets really difficult here, and this is where I have the Milwaukee Bucks. I just think Milwaukee, when you get to the upper echelon, the top 4, you got really, really good teams. Yes, they are 8-2. They are winners of 3 in a row, but I'm sorry, when you got teams like Boston, San Antonio, Houston, and Golden State, I mean, that's the upper echelon of the NBA. I'm sorry, I just don't like. For Milwaukee, this is a great run. You're playing great, but you need to add on. Your resume is looking good, but the resumes of especially Houston, San Antonio, and those echelons are even better. So, Lucky, you're great. You're in the top 5, guys. You just got to build on it. You're almost there. You're almost there. Give it to you.
Yeah, I have the Milwaukee Bucks as my number 5 as well. So yeah, so Florio, it's yours.
I already took number 5, so we're on to number 4, and MF starts it off. So who's number 4, MF?
Boston Celtics. I'm going with Michael Bullock's team. 47-26, 1 game behind the Cleveland Cavaliers for the number 1 in the Eastern Conference. Winners of 3 in a row, including a big victory tonight against, yes, I understand it is against the second worst team in the NBA when it comes to the Phoenix Suns. But with the way Devin Booker played tonight, there's nothing to sneeze at with that performance. But the one thing that I need to say, it could actually be the number 1 seed going to the playoffs if Cleveland continues to falter. If Cleveland falters, then we could be talking about the Celtics as the number 1 home court advantage throughout the Eastern Conference playoffs. And if that happens, guys, everybody's saying, oh, it's going to be Cleveland. It could be Cleveland. It could be Cleveland. I think Boston has a chance to make it to go to the NBA Finals. I'm just saying. I'm calling it. If Boston's the number 1 seed, I like their chances. I really like their chances. So my number 4 is the Boston Celtics. Michael Bullock, I give it to you.
Yeah, I got the Boston Celtics as my number 4 as well. So yeah, there's really nothing more to say. So Florio, what's yours?
I believe that this is for the first time tonight. I think we all have a unanimous agreement here, because my number 4 is the Boston Celtics as well. 47-26 record. They lead the Toronto Raptors by 3.5 games in the Atlantic, 47-26, which is I believe it's like half a game percentage points behind Cleveland for that top spot in the East. Wow, if you can believe that. Since our last rankings, easy win at the Lakers, a bad loss at Phoenix on the 5th, loss at the Clippers on the 6th, huge win at Golden State on the 8th of the month, unbelievable. And then a bad loss at Denver on the 10th. But since then, they've caught fire. Easy win at home against Chicago on Selection Sunday. Easy home win against Minnesota. Hard-fought win at Brooklyn. I can't believe I'm saying that, but it was a hard-fought win. They only won by 3. Bad loss at Philadelphia on the 19th. But they won 3 in a row, all at home against Washington Monday, Indiana Wednesday, and then Phoenix tonight. That 130-120 shootout in which they overcame that 70-point outburst by Devin Booker. Unbelievable. They host Miami on Sunday, host Milwaukee on Wednesday, host Orlando on Friday. They're in the midst of a very long homestand here. This is a 6-game homestand that they're in the midst of. And then they finally go on the road on WrestleMania Sunday, April 2nd, when they go to Madison Square Garden against the New York Knicks. ABC 1 o'clock afternoon game there. They host the Cleveland Cavs on April 5. That's an ESPN game. They're at Atlanta Thursday the 6th, which is a TNT game. At Charlotte on the 8th. And then they end the year with 2 games at home on the 10th against the Brooklyn Nets. And then on April 12th, they end the year at home against the Milwaukee Bucks. So very impressed with the efforts of Brad Stevens' team. So Boston Celtics are number 4. I'm guessing Bullock's not ready to do number 3.
Yes, I am. Yes, I am.
Oh, okay. Who do you have at number 3?
All right, my number 3. I'm actually gonna go with the Houston Rockets as my number 3. Some people I know they think they should be higher, but trust me, the top 2. I think the 2 teams that I have, I think they're just better, and I think those top 2. It's obviously Golden State and San Antonio. Whereabouts I have them in order. I think you're just gonna have to wait and find out. But yeah, excuse me. Of course, they did get a win. Of course they got a win tonight. Of course, over the New Orleans Pelicans. Well, what else is new with that? Of course. Yeah, of course. Before that, of course, they beat the Denver Nuggets twice. But last Friday, of course, they obviously lost to the New Orleans Pelicans, and they did beat the Lakers, and of course, they beat the Cavs as well. So, and of course, they've also beaten the Bulls. So, yeah, even though I did it backwards, but I just basically give you my thoughts on that. So, yeah. So, my number 3 is the Houston Rockets. So, Florio, what do you say? You agree or disagree?
I agree with you, Bullock. I'm right there with you. Houston Rockets are number 3 in my end as well. 50-22, 5.5 games behind the San Antonio Spurs in the Southwest Division. 7-3 in the last 10. They won 3 in a row, including tonight. They're in the playoffs. They've already clinched the spot, as have the Celtics and the rest of our teams in our docket here. Since our last power rankings, home win against Memphis, road losses. A road loss at San Antonio, home loss to Utah, easy road win at Chicago. A nice home win against Cleveland on Selection Sunday. Maybe a finals preview. You never know. Easy home win against the Lakers. Bad loss at New Orleans. Bounce back with a nice win at Denver. Home win against Denver. And then a 117-107 win over New Orleans tonight. They host Oklahoma City on Sunday. ABC game of the week, Sunday, 3:30. And then it doesn't get any easier. They have to host Golden State on Tuesday, NBA TV. At Portland Thursday on TNT. And then they're at Golden State on next Friday on ESPN. WrestleMania Sunday, they're at Phoenix, and then they host Denver on the 5th, host Detroit on the 7th, at Sacramento on the 9th, at the Clippers on the 10th, and then they end the year at home on the 12th against Minnesota. So they're second in points scored, 9th in field goal percentage, 9th in rebounds, 13th in three-point shooting. Like I said, this team is the biggest threat to both San Antonio and Golden State in the West. If San Antonio or Golden State has to come across this team, they don't want to see them. Trust me, they don't want to see them. Because I think Houston's got a chance to pull off a major upset. I think they can. They got the talent to do it. And they got a solid and a halfway decent coach in D'Antoni. So let's see what happens. But for right now, they're number 3, the Houston Rockets. MF, are we going to have another unanimous agreement here?
Yes, we do. Unanimous agreement. Houston Rockets is indeed the number 3. So it's on to number 2.
And I started off. Number 2, it was close, but by a smidge. Number 2 is the San Antonio Spurs. San Antonio Spurs, number 2, 7-3 in the last 10 games. They've won 3 in a row, 55-16. They're in the playoffs. They're the number 2 seed in the West. They're 5.5 up on Houston in the Southwest Division. First in three-point shooting, 3rd in field goal percentage, 12th in points scored, 14th in rebounds. I mean, what else is there to say except since our last rankings? Road win at New Orleans, home wins against Minnesota and Houston and Sacramento. They were in the midst of a long winning streak, but then it was snapped on the 9th when they lost at Oklahoma City, 102-92. And then they beat Golden State on the 11th. No big surprise. We knew they were going to do that because Golden State was resting their players at the time. 107-85. And then a home win against Atlanta. A bad home loss to Portland on the 15th. And then they lost at Memphis on the 18th. But since then, they haven't lost. An easy home win against Sacramento on Sunday. Tuesday, hard-fought win at Minnesota. And then a hard-fought win Thursday at home against Memphis. They host the New York Knicks tonight. Host the Cleveland Cavaliers Monday in the finals preview. A possible finals preview, I should say, on TNT. Wednesday, they host Golden State, ESPN, 9:30. At Oklahoma City, ESPN. They're going to be on national TV this week, guys. And rightfully so. And then WrestleMania Sunday, they host Utah. Host Memphis on the 4th. Host the Lakers on the 5th. At Dallas on the 7th. Final home game of the year at home against the Clippers on the 8th. ABC, the regular season Saturday night finale. And then they close the season with 2 road games at Portland on the 10th and at Utah on the 12th. That Western Conference, boy, going to be awfully fun. I know Alex was hoping they were going to be number 1, but I'm sorry, my friend. There's just one team that's just a smidgen better than you guys are. And they're finally looking like that dominant team that we knew that they were capable of them being. So, but for right now, number 2, San Antonio Spurs. MF, how about it?
Yeah, no arguments here. Number 2 is indeed San Antonio. Michael Bullock, I'll give it to you.
San Antonio Spurs are my number 2 as well. Make it unanimous. So let's move on to number 1.
And number 1 is the Golden State Warriors. 7-3 in the last 10 games, 5 winners of 5 in a row. They finally look like they're starting to look like that team that we all thought that they were. They're starting to look like that championship team. The pedigree now, okay, 6 in a row now, I guess. And they just won again tonight. So, I mean, there's really nothing more to say. Golden State is starting to look like that dominant team out in the West, but they're back next week. It looks like he might be He might be back in a couple of weeks, just in time for the end of the regular season. If that's the case, then you're going to start seeing the Warriors become that perennial favorite to win the NBA championship again, like everybody was saying at the beginning of the year. So we'll wait and see what happens. But when you're 8-10 in the last 10 games, winners of 6 in a row, one in the West, yeah, you got it, hands down. Nothing more to say. Golden State Warriors #1. Bullock, go.
Golden State Warriors are my number one without a shadow of a doubt. So Florio, take us home.
Number one, they're back. They're back and they're better than ever. The Golden State Warriors, number one. Update the records. It's now 58-14 overall. Best record in the league. 15 up on the Clippers in the Pacific. I believe the win will now put them at 8-2 in their last 10, and they've now won 6 in a row. Finally looking like that team that, that they're capable of being. The dominant team, the odds on the team that makes us say, oh, they're the favorites to win it all. They're looking like that team again. First in field goal percentage, first in points scored, third in three-point shooting, and sixth in total rebounds. That's a number one resume right there. Let's see what they've done since our last rankings. Road wins at New York and Atlanta. Tough home loss to Boston. Bad loss at Minnesota. Worst loss at San Antonio because they were resting their players. Hard-fought home win against Philadelphia. And since then, they've won at home against Philly, at home against Orlando, home against Milwaukee. Statement win at Oklahoma City on Monday. And then an easy win at Dallas, and then an easy win tonight against Sacramento, 114-100. They host Memphis Sunday, at Houston on Tuesday, NBA TV, at San Antonio Wednesday on ESPN, and then another ESPN home game against Houston next Friday. WrestleMania Sunday, they host the Washington Wizards. Then they host Minnesota on the 4th. They're at Phoenix on the 5th, host New Orleans on the 8th. And then they have a 3-game homestand to end the year against New Orleans on the 8th, Utah on the 10th, and then they end the year at home against the Lakers. So there you go. Good news indeed about Kevin Durant. So that's all I can say about that. So to my sister's beautiful friend, Dawn Avalar, who is the biggest Golden State Warriors fan that I know. Let me see you smile one time, beautiful angel. They're number one, darling. Your Golden State Warriors. They're back on top. And I know if she was watching right now, I know she'd be very happy to hear what we all just said. So no question about it. Number one with a bullet, it is the Golden State Warriors. So that will put the bow on this edition of Strictly Sports. We want to thank you all so very much for tuning in as always. Open forum shout outs, gentlemen. So MF, Bullock, whoever wants to first take. Oh, I see Bullock's ready. So Bullock, let's have your shout outs, and then MF, and then I'll take it. And very exciting future content coming up, man. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yes, it is very exciting. So, so of course, we want to thank you all so very much for tuning in for another great edition of Strictly Sports. And of course, shout out to all of our tremendous fans and viewers out there who continue to support our shows, whether it's this Ridiculously Raw or the Cerebral Smack Talk. Of course, shout outs to all our super fans. You guys know who you are. Of course, to all of our friends from our high school days, you guys know who you are. And of course, all of our local personalities from 6, 10, and 12. And of course, all of our national people from ESPN, Fox Sports, MLB Network, NFL Network, NBA TV, NHL Network, and of course our friends from the Road Show, of course, former co-host Mary Larson, Megan Mooney, and then of course the current people, Will Gilbert, Brendan Kirby, and Michaela Johnson. So yeah, that's gonna do it for me. So yes, of course Monday night, it's an all new edition of Ridiculously Raw as we kick off WrestleMania week here at the Wrestling Forum. And all I can say is, boys, I certainly cannot wait I mean, it's the one year you look forward to WrestleMania week, and I'm certainly excited to be on this ride with you guys this week, and we're gonna have a whole hell of a lot of fun. So can't wait to start it off Monday night. So until then, this is Mike Bullock saying thank you all so very much for tuning in. And of course, you know the routine. Thumbs up. Talk to you later. Yeah, throw the 4-4 style. Bye for now and enjoy your weekend, everyone. So I give it to you, Fletch.
Yes, indeed. First off, thank you to all the great fans out there for making the shows as amazing as they are. You guys are the best fans in the world. To my friend in the junior high and high school days, I love you guys. Super fans. You guys know who you guys are. 2184 crew, love you guys to death. You know, to especially big thank you to Anthony and Dee Dee Woodson for taking such great care of the Cerebral Smack Talk on Tuesday night, and I'm so proud and honored for you guys. Did as amazingly good as it did, um, um, and I can't wait to get back behind the wheel and hopefully build off that awesomeness that was from last week, and hopefully this might be the start of something great. We'll see. So with that said, that's it. See you guys on Monday. I'm Mike. Oh, good night, Anthony. Take it home.
Yeah, we'll do, MF. Yeah, special shout out to all of our tremendous fans and viewers out there who continue to make our shows what they are, including this past Tuesday night when I filled in for MF on the Cerebral Smack Talk, the most watched Cerebral Smack Talk broadcast in the 8 months we've been doing that show. Like I said, 119 views and counting. Unreal. I was totally not expecting that, but hey, strange things happen. I mean, I got over 200 views for when we did our Fastlane preview earlier in this month, so unbelievable. But nonetheless, you guys are the best fans in the world, and that epitomized it right there on Tuesday night, no doubt about it. Of course, special shout out to the First Lady of the Wrestling Forum and my partner in crime that night, Twisted Angel Dee Dee Woodson, who did a great job as always. Shout out to her, Kevin, and the entire family. Of course, Matt Ward, Jason Nixonbaugh, Daniel Luttrell from the UK. Our other First Ladies, Kaiser Butler, Megan Silva, and Lexi Calloway. Our other friends from our school days, Tommy Souza, Eric Carrier, Jimmy Alden, Al Braderson, and Rob Parsons. And of course, the man who put it all together, the one and only Derek Ferreira. And of course, our personalities from 6, 10, and 12. They know who they are. ESPN, Fox Sports 1, MLB Network, NHL Network, NBA TV, NFL Network, the whole 9 yards. Personal shout-outs on my end. Of course, Lindsay McCormick, State of Sorrel. Can't forget about them. Julie Alexandria, Julianne Peixoto. Our friends from the Road Show, Will Gilbert, Michaela Johnson, Brendan Kirby, and our former co-hosts, Megan Mooney and Mary Larson. And last but not least, my wonderful church family at Oasis of Grace Ministries on 464 Silver Spring Street in Providence. If you need a church home, check them out. Exit 25 off Route 95. Later today, I'm going to be going on a ministry outreach with my church brother Kyle and some others. So looking forward to that. And then Sunday morning, Bible study and service, 9 a.m. and after 10. And then Wednesday night Bible study at 7. And other things going on. So yeah. That'll do it for my shout outs. Of course, future content, of course, Monday night. We kick off WrestleMania week here on our family of networks. And it starts off right back here, Monday night. Ridiculously Raw. And what are we going to be talking about? The Go Home Show. The final Monday Night Raw before WrestleMania. Philadelphia, or as MF likes to call it, the Illadelph. It's going to be popping. It's going to be ready to go. I can't wait for it. Triple H and Seth Rollins. Goldberg and Lesnar, just to name a few things to go down. And then I'll also have my Tony's take on 205 Live and Impact Wrestling as always. Tuesday night, hopefully we'll have MF back at the controls of the Cerebral Smack Talk as we'll review the final SmackDown Live before WrestleMania. That will be in Richmond, Virginia. WWE Champion Bray Wyatt will be going one-on-one with his former partner, Luke Harper. That should be interesting. And then all the other stuff going on. Hopefully, MF will have a Mikey's mindset for us. Whatever he has in store for that. And then make a note of this. Thursday, March 30th. Make a note of this. 10 p.m. That's the time. We're going to do it straight up at 10, guys. We are going to preview both NXT TakeOver Orlando and the Showcase of the Immortals itself, WrestleMania 33. No show on Friday, no Strictly Sports. That's taking the place of it. And we're doing it on Thursday night because Friday night, we're taking the Friday off so we can tune in to watch the Hall of Fame induction ceremony. And then we're also having the Saturday so we can watch TakeOver Orlando and the Final Four as they'll both be broadcasting simultaneously. So Thursday, March 30th, it is the preview of TakeOver Orlando and WrestleMania 33. And then on Sunday night, April the 2nd, hop on over to MF's channel, Brace Fan 95, where we will have our complete recap of the biggest event of the year, WrestleMania 33. So that's it. Hopefully you got all that. So that's it. So until Monday night for Ridiculously Raw, it's Anthony Florio here for Good Old MF Michael Fletcher, for Michael Bullock, and in spirit, Derek Ferreira and Dee Woodson. You know the routine, everybody. Thumbs up. Talk to you later. Yeah. Throw it up Fortune 4 style. Bye for now, my friends. God bless. Be good to each other. Have a blessed weekend. Enjoy the continuing tournament action. And until Monday night for Ridiculously Raw, you've been watching Strictly Sports right here on the Tone 25 on YouTube.com. For now, Anthony Florio. So long.